We are doing it live. This is the qualifying round of the 2015 Sport Climbing Series Open National Championships presented by the North Face. We are at Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts. We have 37 men and 29 women competing in today's qualifying round. I'm Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here in the booth.
Thanks, Brian.
Chris, welcome.
Happy to be here.
We are very excited to bring you guys live coverage tonight and tomorrow of this SCS National Championship 2015. And just like this, Chris, we're going to get underway with our first competitors on the wall.
Here they go.
Each of these competitors will be climbing on 2 qualifying routes during today's qualifiers. 2 for the women, 2 for the men. And right away, it's going to be 4 wide action. We'll get a check on who's on the wall right now. Should be for the women, Alexa Nazarian. And for the men, I believe that's Liam Anders Bancroft.
And looks like off camera we also have Gabriel Peralta.
And there's Daniel Berman on his.
And Daniel Berman.
That's male qualifier A there on the far right side of this wall here at Central Rock.
Those hot pink holds, we took a good look at that route earlier, and it sure does look difficult. That route looks really hard for a qualifier, but who knows? These guys can crank 513 like it's nothing, so. There they go up the wall.
Keep in mind all weekend that you can tweet at us using the hashtag SCS Nationals or chat at us in the chat room on YouTube. We'll be looking for your feedback. Let us know where you're viewing from, who you're rooting for. Getting a good look at both the male qualifier routes here. Central Rock Gym walls pretty tall, Chris, and pretty steep. It doesn't quite show it on that far right-hand wall, but these walls are pretty unrelenting.
Yeah, this straight-on view that you're seeing right now just doesn't do the steepness justice. It's I stood behind the wall, underneath the wall that is, a little earlier, and God, I couldn't believe how steep this thing is. The quick draws are hanging out at least at 40 degrees. It's a lot steeper than it looks.
As we get this qualifier underway, Chris, as I mentioned at the top, there's 37 men and 29 women. Let's talk about some of the people that we're looking forward to seeing during this qualifier round. Who are you looking forward to seeing for the women?
Gosh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the finalists from last year, for sure.
Yeah, we have 7 finalists back from last year's championship, including our national champion, Delaney Miller.
And there goes, was that, I
think that was Liam that just came off men's qualifier B.
So one person I'm really looking forward to seeing also is Emily Harrington. She's making her debut after 5 years off of competing at an SCS. And we'll get to see her midway through the qualifiers.
Yeah, Emily's a past national champion. I think she's won this event numerous times, so I know she's excited to be back. She'll be coming up about halfway through this qualifying round. You can get the full running orders at scsnationals.org. See one of your favorite climbers coming up. We're going to have Alex Puccio out on the wall here in just a few minutes for the women.
Oh, okay, that's
see Alexa Nazarian there on her first qualifier. These competitors are climbing in a random order for qualifiers. They'll climb their first route, and then they will get a little bit of a break before they climb their second route, but it's all random. Some climbers start on the second route, some will start on the first, doesn't really matter. As far as we understand, both these routes are pretty difficult, so there's no warm-up routes at SCS Nationals.
No. In fact, the competitors have been warming up now for a couple hours. Yeah, 2 hours ago, many of the comp climbers here were just cruising around, bouldering, warming up. It was a really fun scene, actually. Everybody, all the women, all the men, just hanging out like they're friends, bouldering together, going through the moves together. And here's the figure 4 on this qualifying, this flash, the route that they're flashing. It's
that's a great point, Chris.
The format is what I was trying to say.
We should definitely mention the climbers have a chance to preview these routes. There's actually a video playing in isolation where somebody on the setting team has forerun the routes. So
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did she skip that clip? It looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna be able to circle back and.
Now, if she skips a clip, I believe that's a disqualification, isn't it?
I think as soon as her feet pass the clip, she can no longer continue. So it looks like she realized now.
Yeah, so she's, oh God, that's too bad because.
I have no sound in my ear.
Yeah, and it looks like she realizes she has to down climb to clip that. Oh my.
Well, this is all part of the process the climbers go through when they're previewing the route, trying to figure out where they're going to be clipping. Looks like she couldn't quite figure that out.
Wow, that was a pretty big whipper.
Oh, look over on men's qualifier air there. LIGHTNER, one of the best young climbers in the entire world. This is his first SCS Nationals, first time he's been eligible. You have to be 16 sometime this year to compete in SCS Nationals. Kai just competed in his first ABS Nationals last month in Madison, Wisconsin. Also won his division at Youth Bouldering Nationals. He's definitely a favorite to make finals this weekend. Really incredible young climber.
Yeah, I just remember watching Kai compete in Seco Block, and he sure did have a lot of spirit. He was fighting, and so I expect good things from Kai this weekend.
Kai's also a national champion in his category for rope climbing. There's LIGHTNER. See how he does on his first qualifier. Climbing next to him, just off camera, is our reigning ABS national champion for the men, MOHAMMAD JAFARI. Technically not the national champion because he is a foreign national, but he did win ABS Nationals last month in Madison, Wisconsin. See
Nice.
LIGHTNER nearing the top. Really a difficult-looking qualifying route for the men. Relentlessly steep, really small holds, Chris.
Yeah, in fact, that sloper that he's holding with his left hand right now, I remember looking from the ground thinking that looks impossible to hold. Oh, a really good effort by Kai, jumping to try to hit the last hold but missing. Excellent effort over there.
And there's MOHAMMAD JAFARI climbing out of Iran. Lives in Golden, Colorado right now for his wife's schooling. Came out of nowhere to win ABS Nationals last month. From what I understand, he's pretty good at rope climbing as well.
It's sure looking like it. So you said his wife's schooling?
That's correct.
Yeah, what does she do?
I don't know, but he's here in the States, coming off about 2/3 of the way up that qualifying route. See how he does on his second climb. And it is worth noting that the climbers do get credit for each hold that they grab on the way up the wall here. That's how they're going to get their points. as we see a familiar face with an unfamiliar set of equipment around her waist. Alex PUCCIO with a harness on, doing a little rope climbing.
Yeah, and this is her first time entering a rope climbing competition, I believe, in 7 years. She, God, I mean, she's coming off the best season that an American female boulderer has ever had. I expect she's going to want this really bad and be capable of doing it. I really believe she's doing well. And then on the left, our climber just passed a no hands rest. I will remind everyone that there is an 8-minute time limit. Now they're trying not to take it too seriously. They're hoping that nobody will be able to be on these routes for the full 8 minutes. But just in case, they will be called off at 8 minutes. So far, everybody's climbing a lot faster than that.
And who is that over on the far left of our screen there, Chris?
I believe that's Francesca Caiazzo.
Yes, from St. Louis, Missouri.
That's right.
19 years old, climbing next to Alex PUCCIO. I feel like that'd be pretty exciting. See how Alex's endurance matches up to some of these more seasoned rope climbing competitors. As Chris said, Alex does not do a lot of rope climbing competitions.
She sure looks relaxed, though. And meanwhile, Francesca on the left is definitely taking her time. She's looking like she's struggling a little bit, trying to figure out the right sequence, even though, as Brian mentioned, they have seen the sequence on video earlier. It looks really technical. Like if you can stand on your feet, you can take your time, and that's what Francesca's doing right now. Toe hooking the side of the wall. Right next to her, PUCCIO is just kind of slowly, really controllingly going up the wall. She's looking confident and very relaxed, as I would expect.
Yeah, Chris, even though rope climbing is more about, stamina, being able to hang onto the wall longer than your competitors, when the moves are easy for you, when you're as strong as Alex PUCCIO, you just tend not to get as tired.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's Oh, there she goes into that figure 4. I love that sequence. That's fun to watch. Wow.
Climbing next to Alex there is Garrett Greger from Boulder, Colorado. Garrett very proud of doing well in school, while also being an exceptional climber. You know, Garrett spends a lot of time coaching the youth team out there in Boulder as well. Actually coaches with Alex Puccio, Team ABC there in Boulder, Colorado. Garrett's 28 years old. Looking good so far on his first qualifying route. Remember that each competitor tonight is going to climb 2 qualifying routes.
Oh.
Top 16 will go to semifinals tomorrow at noon Eastern time. We'll be back on the air for that.
It looks like Alex Puccio is just not pumped, and she's about 2/3 of the way up the wall. Relaxed, shaking out. I don't know how hard this route is. I don't think anybody has claimed a grade for this, but I did talk to some of the competitors who seemed to think it was probably going to be in the 12 plus 13 minus range. And if that's the case, it's no wonder that Alex Puccio is just hiking it so far. That should be no issue for her.
Looks like she's well on her way to being our first competitor to finish qualifying route. Doesn't even look like she's really had to exert that much effort so far. Nice job by Alex Puccio.
Oh my gosh.
Flashing her first qualifier route here at 2015 SCS Nationals.
That's awesome.
It's always good to come out of the gate. Strong first qualifying route like that.
Yep, no problem for her.
And on that note, Chris, Alex looks strong. Who are some of the other names you're looking for vying for that top spot tomorrow in finals?
Well, you know, Claire BUHRFEIND, of course, is she tied for 3rd last year, and she also was the winner of the Seco Block comp. She is a strong 16-year-old, and I definitely expect some great things from her. Of course, there's Delaney Miller, who was our winner last year. She's looking kind of strong and confident as always, and there goes SASHA DIGIULIAN, another one of the main.
Speaking of strong and confident,
exactly.
SASHA finished 2nd last year. She's won this event multiple times. Obviously one of the best climbers in the world. Just barely beaten out by Delaney Miller last year in a bit of a tie for first place. Reminder for the viewers at home, there is a live scoring component that you can view at your leisure, either at lt11.tv or in YouTube. You can switch to a separate angle on there, and you can see some unofficial live scores as we go throughout the day here. And we'll try to explain those to you as we go. Make sure you understand exactly what's going on with these SCS national scores. Climbers want to get as high on each of these climbs as they possibly can. Make sure they get their spot in tomorrow's semifinal round. And there's one of our finals from last year, Rob D'Anastasio. Rob's been climbing for a long time, 31 years old. One of the veteran competitors we love to see out here, all these USA climbing events.
Yeah, Rob is a really experienced competitor, having done really well in a lot of comps this year. He seems to have been on fire. He climbed a couple V13s, including a V13/14 up in Rocky Mountain National Park in his home state of Colorado this past summer. He's looking really strong on that route. We did see Mohammed JAFARI fall off this route a little while ago, and it looks like Rob is now starting to struggle a bit.
Yeah, this men's route is no joke. It's just relentlessly steep, and the holds just kind of disappear here at the top. And the sequence is kind of tripped up. Oh, and Rob D is not feeling too good about that.
Oh, little wobbler there. I love to see that.
SASHA DIGIULIAN.
Just kind of calmly.
Looking very
slowly
smooth.
Making her way up.
Always interesting to see where SASHA's at with her climbing. Very busy.
Yep.
Going to school at Columbia. One of the ambassadors of the sport, really. Always traveling.
Absolutely.
kind of wonder how she finds any time to actually go climbing.
I know. You know what I'm wondering is the shadows from the lighting right now are. It seems like it'd be kind of annoying as a climber to be finding the handholds and exactly how to grab these technical handholds with those shadows there. But not stopping Sasha, but yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, this looks like a really complex route for Sasha. And now, oh, that's Grace, isn't it? Is that Grace McKeehan?
No, I think that's
Or
Julia Talbot on the
oh, there we
second female qualifier route here. See Sasha working her way to the top of women's qualifier A.
Oh, and there she goes.
Sasha comes off.
3 holds from the top, but excellent, excellent way to go.
And as we get through this qualifier round, Chris, we'll get a better sense for what is a good score in each of these routes. We don't really know that at this point.
Yep.
It's up to these competitors to establish high points and let us know how hard these routes are. The route setters are always trying to just separate these climbers in the fairest way possible, challenge everyone equally.
Yep. Julia Talbot seemed to make that clip that our previous competitor was not able to make.
Julia, just 15 years old, from Florence, Massachusetts, climbing on Team Central Rock, so she's a local favorite here. Seems to be climbing quite well so far, so I always love when the local competitors do well at national events.
Yeah, and you know, Brian, you were just talking about the route setting. Julia's 5'1", and then we have competitors as tall as Claire Burfine, who I believe is, what, 5'11" or something. It'd be challenging as these route setters to set a route that people of different heights like that can climb and try to eliminate them in different spots.
And here we have Noah Ridge on the right-hand side of the screen. Noah finished second last year. On the left side, I believe that's Ryan Strickland, 20 years old, from Sugar Hill, Georgia. Noah, 20 years old, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Quietly one of the better sport climbers in the country. Finished in the top 3 at SCS Nationals the last 2 years. Could be one of our favorites to win this event this year. It's worth noting our defending champion, Brad Weaver, is not here this year.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess we heard he had an injury and maybe he wasn't able to train as hard as he wanted to. But yeah, it was. I was a little disappointed to hear that he couldn't make it this time. But Noah certainly is a strongie.
So we will have a new national champion for the men this year. We do have past national champions in the field like Carlo Traversi. Seeing Carlo a little bit later in this qualifying round. You know, Carlo's been climbing strong, so excited to see him. See if Noah can be the first male competitor to finish male qualifier A here on the far right side of the wall here at Central Rock. Remember to keep in touch with us here in the broadcast booth with the hashtag SCS Nationals on Twitter or in the YouTube chat room. Looking for your feedback.
Now on the left, it looks like we have Samantha Scherenberg starting the women's technical route on the left, Route A. There's Samantha. Got to be honest, I don't know much about Samantha Scherenberg. Tell me about her a little bit.
Looks like Samantha's 18 years old, from Seattle, Washington.
My hometown, people.
Stone Gardens climbing team.
Yes. All right. Okay, so there goes, that's Margot Hayes. Margot Hayes.
Margot finished 10th last year at SCS Nationals. One of the better young climbers in the country, Boulder, Colorado.
Climbed 14A at the Red River Gorge.
Just 17 years old. And who is this for the men here? That's still Noah Ridge. Nearing the top of that qualifier. This is when that pump starts sit in. Long way up this wall. And like you said, Chris, the shadows seem They seem a little severe from here, but it could be maybe different up close. Noah Rich not quite able to grab that last hold before the finish.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely chat with the competitors, see how the conditions are out there.
And left is Margot Hayes. Very flexible. She's always been putting her feet up and heel hooking and toe hooking in places other competitors don't. She's actually coming off of a broken back a few months ago in November at the Pan Am Championships. First boulder problem in qualifiers. She fell and got a compression fracture. Kept climbing, but eventually went to the doctor and had to wear a brace for a month. But here she is, obviously unable to train like she probably wanted to, but looking really strong and sounded really psyched.
And for the men, there's Elan Jonas McRae from Canada, one of our foreign nationals competing here at SCS Nationals. Elan is an incredibly strong climber. He's made finals at SCS Nationals in the past. I believe 2 years ago at Movement, he made finals. Really good climber. Love to see him here at this event.
5'10", 120 pounds. That's Elan. Man, I gotta say, I'm like 5'10 and a half, and I got a good 35 on this guy. 45.
But
jeez.
You also have years of wisdom, Chris.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that because I gotta have something. There goes Margot, kind of navigating that black triangle made up of 3 triangles. It's kind of cool. She's looking great up there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some creative route setting all weekend from our route setting team, led by Brett Johnston, helped out by Mike Helt, Luke Bertelson, Shane Messer, Meg Coyne, and Rylan Marshall. Always interesting to see what the route setters come up with.
Samantha Scharenberg still fighting for it on the left side of the wall here.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, just as you can see here off camera there, behind Margot. Margot nearing the top of this route as well, trying to match Alex Puccio, who flashed the route with relative ease.
And I want to say Elan is struggling at the moment, but I think he has the high points so far on that route.
That's a nice move there. You can see the experience that he has climbing really confidently.
Yeah.
Get a great top-down look at Margot Hayes here from that GoPro
Nice.
camera. Nice job by Margot Hayes.
All right, yep, she's one of my personal favorites, hometown girl. See her climbing at Rifle some. Many of these competitors haven't done a whole lot of outdoor sport climbing, and Margot's one of the ones who has, and I appreciate that about her. Oh, and there goes Elan taking a spectacular fall from very close to the top. That's back to Samantha Scharenberg, who, you know, I want to say, Brian, these competitors on the far left wall may get close to that 8-minute time limit. It sure seems like she's been up there a while. I did see one of our competitors earlier get a no hands, a really sketchy no hands rest. So if you can get a no hands on these things, 8 minutes can go by pretty quick.
Yeah, 8 minutes sounds like a long time until you're up on the wall.
That's right. Now she's at Sasha's high point and fell in the exact same place as Sasha DIGIULIAN. Impressive go.
Off camera there on the far right side of the wall, we had Mike Foley coming off on the male qualifier A. Mike's just your average sport climber that's climbed 515 that most people at home probably haven't heard of. Super strong climber from Lincoln, Massachusetts.
So the 515 he did, that was in Rumney,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, Jaws 3 or whatever. Or Jaws 2, I guess.
I don't know. I was never really a big fan of sequels, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jaws 2. That's the most repeated 515 in America, that's for sure.
Stepping onto the wall there in the center of the screen there is Michael O'Rourke.
Okay, now he's one of the guys, Brian, that we've talked about. We expect great things from him. He is so freaking strong. Here he is moving very quickly.
Yeah, I've known Michael for a really long time. He grew up in the Midwest. I actually used to be able to beat him at competitions, which...
Wait, say that again?
It's a while ago. He's obviously blown way past me.
Wow, I never knew you were a competitor.
Well,
Narc. Baby.
Brave and humble, Chris. but as soon as Mike got on that boulder diet, he blew right past me. He's one of the strongest climbers in the country.
Yep.
Known more for his bouldering, but don't sleep on the boulders, as we saw with Alex Puccio. When the moves aren't hard, you don't get pumped.
Yep. So I want to say that's Sydney Trinidad. Is that right?
That is Sydney Trinidad.
And, yep, she is on...
just 16 years old from Seattle, Washington.
Another Seattleite, love it. Team Vertical World. I used to work at Vertical World for like 6 years.
Back in the 90s?
Back in the 90s, yes. Thank you very much. Yeah.
That's when it was still cool to be a climber.
Hey, man, it's always cool to be a climber. Come on. Sydney's working up the route that 2 of our females have already topped out, and that was Alex Puccio and Margot Hayes. And now on the far right, is that Thomas? No. Yes, that's Thomas Pitzel.
Let's see what we can find out about Thomas here. From Alpharetta, Georgia, 19 years old. See the Stone Summit tank top there. Tank tops are pretty fresh.
Dude, I love to rock my tank top in the gym. Oh, man, it looks like these guys are getting bouted by that route. Our favorite, Michael O'Rourke, fell off, and now it looks like Thomas Pitzel's just came off as well. That's Thomas Pitzel.
Yeah, these qualifier routes are not easy. Last year, SCS Nationals, I think maybe one of the men finished one of the qualifier routes, so always difficult at SCS Nationals.
Yeah.
This is not your average local comp. There are no warm-up routes to make you feel good about being here.
Exactly. And then on the left, we have Danielle Rogan. Danielle Rogan starting the women's tech marathon. She's from, well, I'll get to that in a minute here, actually. And it looks like Sydney is doing the figure 4 move, making it happen. She made that difficult clip that one of our competitors earlier had skipped. I love this, the triangle section. That looks cool and complicated.
Yeah, Chris, the holds that are on there are pretty difficult to see from the ground. Those little, look like foot chips that her hands are on. You can't really see them from the ground. The route setters put those little tick marks you can see kind of guide the climbers over the edges of those volumes, but it seemed to me like a very tricky section to read from the ground.
Well, yeah, and you know, you never know with a tick mark. For me, I like to put the tick where my middle finger goes. A lot of people like to put their tick where their index finger goes. That can be a game changer.
That's definitely why I fell.
I can tell. Sydney climbing well, 2/3 of the way up the wall. Danielle is just still making her way up this tech fest that a couple of our ladies that I talked to in warm-up didn't sound too excited about. I think it just looks tedious, and frankly, it looks brilliant.
Ryan Reynolds and Chris Weidner here in the booth at the 2015 SCS Open National Championships presented by the North Face. We're at Central Rock in Watertown, Massachusetts. Sydney Trinidad goes for a ride.
That was a big ride. Enjoyed that.
Here for the qualifying round, we have 29 women and 37 men vying for their spot in semifinals tomorrow at noon Eastern time, so don't miss that. Be whittling this field down as we work our way towards finals tomorrow night. The top 8 competitors make it to finals.
There goes Danielle Rogan. A good performance on the tech wall, not as high as a few other competitors, but doing well. Now it looks like up for the men, we have Augie Cohn. Augie Cohn, he did either live in or at least visit his brother in Las Vegas. I bouldered with Augie Cohn and his brother a bunch in at Craft Mountain in Las Vegas. He's a really good guy, strong. Been on USA Climbing for a while. Sam Enright is our other competitor.
Reminder that you can check out scores throughout this weekend on LT11.tv or on YouTube. You can switch to a separate feed that has the live scores that'll be updated. Those scores are unofficial, but in general, the way the scoring works is that each of these routes the competitors on, remember, they have 2 per gender. Each route that they're on, they're ranked against their competitors individually. So each route basically becomes its own competition. They're ranked 1st through 37th for the men on problem 1, 1st through 37th on problem 2, and then those ranks are aggregated across 2 climbs, so lower scores are better. When you look at that live scoring, tops are the most important factor, though. Whoever gets to the top of the most climbs is going to move on, and then it's followed by their rank scoring that you'll see there. You can see official scores as soon as the round is over at scsnationals.org, or as soon as they're ready, I should say. That's your home for all the
and there
official
goes Augie Cohn.
SCS Nationals information. Excuse me, Chris.
Oh, no way. I just was commenting that both the men just fell off almost simultaneously.
Somehow there's nobody climbing.
We are getting ready to have our last year's champion, Delaney Miller, step up to the wall. We'll also have, what's that?
I've heard of her.
Yeah. Yep. And MELINA COSTANZA. They'll be coming. There goes Delaney just starting. And from what I've seen so far, Brian, I want to say she's going to hike this route. Just a guess. And that's MELINA COSTANZA.
MELINA, just 15 years old, another vertical world climber. Something in the water out there on the West Coast.
That's right, man. I came from there. Heck yeah. Team Vertical World.
Delaney Miller, our two-time reigning national champion for the women. And Chris, Delaney has an interesting style. What is it about her that makes her so good at these competitions?
Brian, I want to say that she, first of all, is a technician. If you notice, she climbs very slowly, but she also is extremely precise with every move. She places her toe perfectly. She places her heel. She grabs holds once, exactly how she's going to use it, rather than kind of flop around with the hand like a lot of competitors do. And she's super light. She's a runner. She's actually a record holder for a few different distances.
Oh, really?
In her school. Yeah, I think she's smart. She's strong and smart. That's what makes her a great climber.
Yeah, at ABS Nationals, we endearingly call her the power sloth because she just has this style where she's quietly, just really slowly powerful in a way that's pretty atypical. We saw Alex Puccio she's kind of grown into that style as well, but she's climbing super smoothly, but also able to pull out those really powerful moves almost effortlessly. There's not like these big wind up, getting psyched and then like doing a big move. She just,
it's like everything's static. I feel like Alex Puccio looks like she's about to cut her feet and do a set of pull-ups on every hold. Delaney, you don't get that sense, but she is, like you said, just as powerful as she needs to be to do every move static. I think it's interesting that they had that video running constantly so that all the competitors had an equal chance to flash the route. It seems kind of strange, but I get why they do it. And that's because the competitors can watch the others climb, so one would have an advantage if they didn't all get to see someone climb it. So they have these videos running, and so far I wonder how that's influenced their choice of sequence. I wonder if they really all try to follow that. We'll have to ask that to some of these competitors when we get them in the booth.
And over there, we got Brian Huang there from Boulder, Colorado, 17 years old. Has made the U.S. national team for rope climbing. Brian actually moved to Boulder from Florida, I believe, as he comes off the wall to focus on climbing. Another one of those youth crushers. See Delaney, excuse me.
Just hiking. Like, it's unbelievable. She doesn't look the slightest bit taxed in any way. Meanwhile, MELINA COSTANZA is still going for it over there on the left and looking good.
I think we're still looking for our first finish on that route, right, for the women?
That's correct.
And for the men, I think we haven't seen anybody finish either route.
Nope.
At this point. I think the competitors know that these routes are really hard, so they know they need to get as high as they can. With that great GoPro shot, Delaney Miller making her way to the top of women's qualifier.
I wonder if she even broke a sweat. That looked so easy.
Really nice job by reigning national champion Delaney Miller.
Excellent work.
Great first route for her.
MELINA COSTANZA, meanwhile, about 3/4 of the way up the wall. Couple moves below where our highest competitors have gotten so far. There she is. You can just see her on the left of the screen, kind of taking her time, chalking up. I do wonder, I want to see a clock because I wonder how long these women are taking to climb that route. Remember, 8 minutes is the limit.
All eyes here at Central Rock. on women's qualifier A. Pretty nice crowd here tonight for Friday night. A lot of people.
Yeah, this is great. I can only imagine what tomorrow night's finals are going to be like.
Finals always going to be a good show. Tomorrow night will be live, I believe at 6:45, 6:30. We'll verify that for you, but you don't want to miss that. Around 6:30 Eastern time tomorrow night, finals of SCS Nationals 2015.
Ooh, it looks like Melina's just almost controlled the highest hold even touched by a competitor. She's trying to figure out how to make this reach. She's struggling, but looking good. Come on. I kind of want to see somebody do this move.
Oh, not quite able to reel that in.
That is the exact same move. So now this is interesting because when they score these, it kind of depends on which hold they control, and you get decimal points per movement, whether you control the hold, whether you move off the hold, or whether you fall going to it. And so far we've seen 3 women fall going to try to control the exact same hold. So they are all absolutely tied.
And that's something that the competitors will talk about with the judges when they get down from the route, to make sure that everybody agrees on what exactly their score is. They know as soon as they get down where they're given credit for. So we see Joe Gifford here climbing into that central rock gobo there.
And it looks like we got KYRA Condie on the far lower left there in the screen. KYRA Condie, really strong climber who has competed quite a bit. Whoa, we got a spinning whip. That was pretty interesting. That was Joe Gifford coming off. There's KYRA Condie.
KYRA, don't call me Kira Condie.
That's right. Yeah, there was some ABS mispronunciation going on, but yeah. Ironically, KYRA Condie did help us get some of our pronunciations right for these competitors, so hopefully we have everyone's name correct. You'll find out. Don't hesitate to tweet us if we make a mistake.
Yeah, tweet at Chris if I make a mistake.
Yeah.
KYRA's 18 years old from Shoreview, Minnesota. Another great climber out of the Midwest. She's been ABS Youth National Champion numerous times. One of the more decorated young climbers in the country. Definitely a favorite to make finals here. KYRA finished 6th last year. You see there, you can tweet at me at ClimbingNarc or Chris. How can they tweet at you?
I'm CWeidner8.
Okay.
At CWeidner8.
Remember to use that hashtag SCS Nationals. We'll look for that. Let us know who you're rooting for, where you're watching from, what you want to see more of here at SCS Nationals 2015. We're here to serve you.
KYRA Condie having a good run here. A little over halfway at the wall at the triangle section. This looks like a complicated sequence. I want to say these women have done it all just a little bit differently. There's a lot of micro options. She's looking good though.
And we're seeing a little bit of the difference in style with Delaney versus KYRA. KYRA's not quite as slow as Delaney. Giving her a little bit of a hard time over the years. She climbs a little fast sometimes, but kind of belies how in control she actually is.
Yeah, that's right.
Faster you climb, the less you have to hang onto the wall.
It looks like kind of a tough final clip there. Yep. She's
C really had to activate that right arm.
She does have slack out, and it's not clipped. This could be an interesting whip.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. She did not make that clip.
That looks like a funk clip. She has to make that clip though, or else she would be disqualified if she made it to the top. And it really looked like it gassed her, but she's still going.
Looks like she's going to make it to the top of female qualifier B there, her first route of the weekend. Nice job by KYRA Condie.
Yep, excellent.
And it's worth pointing out that as at least 3 women have topped out that qualifier. Now it becomes a little less valuable, actually, the more climbers complete that route based on this rank scoring system. We'll check those scores as we get them. Remember, you can check them on LT11.tv as we go throughout the weekend here. Check those unofficial scores. So we see Grace McKeehan here on the left side of the wall on her first qualifier. Grace finished 5th last year at SCS Nationals. It's her first year at SCS Nationals.
Grace, also from Texas. She's with the Texas crew, including Claire Burfind and Megan Martin. Yeah, I've always admired Grace's tenacity. Definitely a favorite of mine to win this comp, or at least place. She's making her way up the tech wall a little faster than all the other ladies have so far.
Another Team Texas climber there on the men's qualifier A. John Brosler. John's one of the best speed climbers in the country. Be looking forward to seeing him. I would suspect tomorrow night we're going to have live coverage of the speed climbing finals when sport climbing is over. I haven't had a chance to check the speed climbing results, but I suspect we'll see John there. Last year, John set the national record in speed climbing at SCS Nationals. It's really one of the more incredible moments I've seen, so don't sleep on speed climbing.
That's right.
Or you'll miss it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the speed climbing comp. So there's John Brosler heading up the pink route. No man has made it to the top of this yet, and they all seem to fall, well, not all, but some of them right around where he just did. Grace McKeehan making her way up the tech route.
I like her chances to be the first woman to finish this qualifier route here. Climbing right into our sponsored banner there. It's product placement.
Nice.
This event would not be possible without all those great sponsors you see up there: North Face, Evolve, Cliff Bar, Scratch Labs, Kylash, Sterling Rope. All super important to bringing you this SCS Nationals, the event, this broadcast. All of it would not be possible without their support, so thanks to them.
Claire Burfind heading up the women's Route B. Claire Burfind won our Siegel Block comp over the summer, and she's been a consistent competitor, including in speed comps, doing really well. Another Texan.
Seems like everybody's either from Texas or Seattle.
That's right. A few locals from Massachusetts, and then we have the Colorado crew, but Claire Burfind, she's definitely a favorite for this comp.
Yeah, Claire finished 3rd last year.
She climbs quickly. It's hard to, oh, nice. Grace McKeehan just made the move that no other woman has made yet.
She's got 2 more moves to finish this route and see if she can figure it out.
There goes Grace, looking great. I was going to say that it's hard to exaggerate the difference in climbing style between Claire Burfind and Delaney Miller.
Nice
They're
job
both
by Grace.
Super strong. Oh, and there, yep, Grace just topped out. Awesome, the first top of Women's A. So is that Mason Pitchell? I want to say it might be. I'm not certain though.
Try and get a look at that bib number here.
Yeah, it's
qualifier B.
A little confusing with 4 people climbing at once. It's exciting though here, here in the gym itself. Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts.
Oh, I think that's actually Dalton Bunker there.
Dalton Bunker, okay.
Dalton came out of nowhere for me, qualifying in 1st place at ABS Nationals last month in the semifinals. Didn't quite keep it together to get into finals, but really strong young competitor out of Salt Lake City, I believe.
Yeah, he's wow, doing really well here.
He's looking a little pumped though. See if he can keep it together here. This is a section where a lot of the men have started to struggle. Looks like he's copping a little bit of a rest though.
Meanwhile, Claire's back there. She just made kind of the most difficult clip, which is the last one. I expect she'll finish this no problem.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that the second women's B is doable now. SASHA, or excuse me, Delaney, Alex Puccio, numerous climbers have finished at this point. So, I think the competitors know that. So,
yeah, and there's Claire with an easy top.
Nice job by Claire Burfind.
Dalton Bunker still holding on. He's been shaking there, trying to recover. He was looking super pumped.
And what kind of recovery can you really get? That's the steepest section of this wall here.
Yeah.
And the handhold was pretty good, but see how that works out for Dalton here. Dalton, 18 years old, from Orem, Utah on the momentum climbing team out there. See if he can suss that move. No.
Yep, and there he goes. It looks like we've had several men fall on that exact same spot. A little bit tangled up in the rope.
All right, Chris, we've had a lot of exciting action so far at 2015 SCS Nationals qualifiers here. We're going to take a quick break and catch our breath, but we'll be right back with more qualifying action. Welcome back to the 2015 Sport Climbing Series Open National Championships presented by the North Face. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here at Central Rock in Watertown, Massachusetts with continuing coverage of qualifiers. We're about 10 climbers in, 29 women and 37 men competing on 2 qualifying routes each, trying to make their way into semifinals tomorrow at noon Eastern time at LT11.tv for all the live coverage of that.
Looks like on the left of our screen we have Annika Nishala climbing, and on the left there's Leilani Peralta. For the guys, there's Matty Hong, certainly one of the favorites. Matty was one of our finalists last year, placed 5th. Expect good things from him, even though he did suffer a leg injury in rifle, actually. He's been...
That's bothering him for a while.
Yeah, it's been a long recovery, since summer even. Hasn't quite recovered fully, but super strong. And on the far right there, it looks like we have Radu Popescu. So far, none of the men have topped out either route.
Yeah, the men's routes have proven to be pretty difficult so far. The women's routes have proven a little bit more manageable for the women. Women's B has seen numerous ascents so far. And Grace McKeehan was just the first woman to finish women's qualifier A. Remember, the climbers are climbing in a random order. Some of them will climb the B route first, some will climb the A route first, and then they will alternate to whichever route they have not yet climbed.
Maddie's looking really strong. Annika Nishala going up the easier of the 2 women's routes, we think.
Remember to keep in touch with us on Twitter with the hashtag SCS Nationals or in the YouTube chat room. And Chris, David in the chat wonders why the difference in the men's and women's fields right now. A lot of tops for the women on B, and for the men, no tops yet. Is there some... The men's route's just a little bit harder, or what's your impression so far?
Well, Brian, my impression is that the women's routes are a little bit, well, they're definitely easier than the men's, there's no doubt, but I think they intentionally wanted to have one route that more women would top out, and it's very steep, the one that we've had more tops on, but the holds are decent. We're only trying to eliminate half the field here, so it's not like we have to have everybody falling off everywhere. The men's routes just might be a little harder than they thought. I mean, that could be the case. Because I think they probably wanted some men to top out. And if anyone is going to top out, Matty Hong has a great chance of doing that. So I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, Matty quietly one of the best climbers in the country. He's climbed 514D.
That's right.
Which is really hard. If you're not familiar with the climbing grading scale, Matty's really good. He comes from an incredible pedigree of climbers.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, Steve and Matty Hong, Matty's dad Steve is 60 years old now. They are certainly the strongest father-son climbers in America. They often partner up together in rifle and at Movement Climbing Gym in Boulder. And there goes Annika Nishala, falling fairly low, actually, on the easier of the 2 routes.
Matty Hong making moves on men's B here.
Come on.
Mixing technique and power. 2 moves from the top. See if he can keep it together. Getting our first GoPro shot from the top of that men's
come on,
B.
Matty.
Matty Hong, nice job.
That was awesome. I'm really psyched.
Top on men's B. Awesome job by Matty Hong. Looking strong on his first qualifier route. That's going to put him in first place at this point on our unofficial scoreboard. Remember, you can check out the scores, the unofficial scores at LT11.tv. You can cycle through those by using the arrow keys on your keyboard. A little pro tip there. And then once the round is over, you can go to SCSnationals.org.
I want to say that's sorry about that.
No,
Brian,
excuse me, Chris. Go ahead.
I want to say that's Claire Bresnan on the left. She's on our women's tech route number letter A. That is Claire Bresnan. Claire is 17 years old from Chevy Chase, Maryland.
One of the best city names.
I know, I love it. Current continental champion. And she actually got second place in 2014 Youth Bouldering Championships. Claire Bresnan. This is my first time seeing her climb live. I'm excited about that. Again, I'm going to say this this technical route for the women is probably the only route that where you could even come close to that 8-minute time limit on. She's nearing the part where I did see one competitor earlier get a no hands rest. She's using her knees. I love it. That looks like a really interesting route. I'm sure it's not a favorite among the competitors, but definitely a good one to weed out some of these ladies. She's doing great though. She's reading it well. She looks really comfortable.
Getting close to the halfway point here in our qualifying round at SCS Nationals 2015. Trying to find our top 16 competitors for semifinals tomorrow. Remember, we're using the new rank scoring format. Climbers are going to be ranked on each route, and then their rank on those routes will be aggregated to find their total score. So if you're looking at those scores, lower is better, indicates that you got higher rank across the 2 qualifier routes. Tops are the most important factor, though, as we've seen Matty Hong get the only top on men's B. That is good.
That is good.
Getting all kinds of sports action across Central Rock here. Lots of Sterling rope moments.
Competitors
going for rides.
That's right. Looks like Claire Bresnan is getting up 2 holds away from where we've seen several competitors fall. Grace McKeehan so far our only woman to top out that route. We'll see if Bresnan can get through that.
And we will see some of the top women on that route still that topped out the second route, which was actually their first route. That wasn't confusing enough.
I have no idea what you just said,
Chris.
Brian.
Don't worry about it. My point was that we still have a lot of good climbers come on that far left route here.
I could not agree more. Oh, and we see a fall, a big one. That was Claire Bresnan coming off, but she did well.
We got Kayla Liu here on women's B. Kayla's 18 from Potomac, Maryland. Part of the Earth Treks team.
Can't quite see the men on the screen yet.
I think that's because they all fell.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the men are spending a lot less time climbing on the wall today than the women.
I love this figure 4. I'm a sucker for figure 4s, Chris.
Brian, how often have you done a figure 4 outdoors?
Maybe 0. That I needed to do, maybe 0.
Right.
Might be climbing in the wrong places, though.
Yeah, you know, that's a fun way to do this. You throw on a jug here with no footholds, and bam, you got a figure 4. What I'm curious about is how many of these ladies would have just thought of doing that if this were an on-site format rather than a flash format.
That's a great point, Chris, and it is worth pointing out that semifinals and finals are both on-site format, which means the climbers will not have any idea what the climbs are like until they start climbing on them. They will not see any of the other competitors trying them. So this is a little bit of a strategy shift tomorrow, but today they had some sense of what they're in for.
Kayla's pausing here at the triangle section, which looks like a tough part. Not sure what to use. There's a lot of options, a lot of bad-looking options, but she's making her way through.
Yeah, she's doing a really nice job trying to make that clip. You can see her trying to find the right balance point that'll let her let go with that left hand long enough to pull the rope up. See her starting to
looks like
struggle a little bit.
Yeah, getting a little pumped.
Oh, looks like she can get to the next hole. She can get a little bit of a breather.
Nice.
Nice job by Kayla.
if our past competitors are any indication, that next clip, which is the last one, is pretty difficult. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she'll deal with that.
And like you said, the clips are important. They are not optional. If you skip a clip, you will be called off. And we saw last year at SCS Nationals, clipping can sometimes be very important. Nice job by Kayla there on women's B.
Kayla's off the wall. And we do have 2 men climbing at the moment. I want to say it's Ahmed Touré on the right or the left. Which is it?
Try and get us
hard to see.
Get that locked down so we get a great shot here from the Airwork Cinema boys.
That's right. Kevin Martin and young Stevie killing it with their vertically oriented cam. God, these men's routes look so hard. There goes another one. Falling pretty low. Catherine Lamb is up on the women's technical route. Catherine Lamb, 17 years old, local, Lexington, Massachusetts.
Yep, Team Central Rock.
Only one top so far on that route that Catherine is climbing right now. Most ladies are making it to within about a quarter of the way up. They're making it 3/4 of the way up, that is. But only Grace McKeehan has made it to the top.
Reminder, you're watching live coverage of the 2015 Sport Climbing Series Open National Championships presented by the North Face. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here at Central Rock.
Boom.
Keep in touch with us all weekend with the hashtag SCS Nationals or in the YouTube chat room. Let us know how you're liking the show, who you're rooting for.
All right, we have some people stepping up to the wall now. With the women, it looks like Bimini Horseman. I kind of like that name, Bimini. 16 years old, local from Newton, Massachusetts, Team Metro Rock. Another shot there of Catherine Lamb just kind of oozing up the technical wall, which looks like a lot of ladies can take their time on.
Each of these competitors has 2 qualifier routes to climb on this evening. Be alternating. Some will start on the one on the left, some will start on the one on the right. Random based on when they registered, I believe.
So I believe that's actually Ahmed Touré. I was wrong before. So there's Ahmed Touré going up
on the bottom right of your screen there. Yep.
Bottom right of the screen. Only one top on that, which was Matty Hung from Boulder. Bimini on the left, not the far left. Catherine Lamb far left. Bimini in the middle. Kind of tough to keep track of all these climbers because so many are falling off and going up. There's we're eliminating about half the field today. A lot of climbers, so we're doing 4 at once.
Just off the right-hand side of the screen. Sure looks like Andrew Nimmer just off camera there. There he is.
And we haven't seen anybody top out that right route, have we, Brian? The men's pinky?
No, a lot of the men were talking about that when we were looking at the route before the comp started. They were kind of a little worried about how small some of these holes are. See Andrew coming up on these pockets that are really small, and it's really a lot steeper than it looks.
Yeah, like we said earlier, this angle is great, but it just doesn't quite do the route justice in terms of how steep it really is. When you stand below this wall, you're looking straight out. You're not looking up.
Oh, no.
Something popped there for Nimmer, and then he did too.
Hate when that happens, Chris. Sports action rolls on here. Central Rock. Climbers all over these walls.
Catherine Lamb inching her way up. One move. This is actually the move where only Grace is made. No problem. Look at that. She's controlling that hold.
See if she can do this rock up move.
And there's Bimini Horseman. This is kind of the most problematic section, it looks like, on the women's climb. And a spectacular fall in the background by Catherine Lamb.
Definitely want to thank all the belayers and volunteers this weekend, helping make this comp possible, keeping these climbers safe, giving them the opportunity to compete for the national championship here at SCS Nationals. Takes a lot of people to put on this event, that's for sure.
Bimini Horseman making her way through that crux. Let's see how she does. She's looking tired.
Love that patriotic
Nice.
chalk bag too, Chris.
Nothing like a little national pride to get you up these walls.
That was definitely a stressful clip that you could see. Whenever your arm's bent like that, you're activating your muscles, getting more tired. You see, didn't quite work out for her there, but nice work by Bimini Horseman.
Yep, that was excellent. I want to say, well, I want to tell you who these are, but I don't know.
It's like Austin Guyman there for the men on the left side. Matt Laundrie, I believe, on the far right side of the wall. Also another one of the, we keep saying it, but another one of these quietly super strong climbers.
Yeah, I've seen Austin climbing in Craft Mountain at Las Vegas, and he is a bouldering powerhouse. And he sure has been doing well this year with both bouldering and rope climbing.
Yeah, I think Austin made finals at ABS Nationals. He's done really well there in the past. See how he does when the ropes get involved. 28 years old, so one of our older competitors here for the men from Colorado Springs. You can see he looks like he's getting a little tired. To see if he can get out to this. We know that if he can get to that far right-hand hold for the green, he can get a little rest, but no.
Whoa, he
Falls
fell while clipping.
while clipping.
That was dramatic. It looked like he was kind of close to hitting the ground upside down.
As long as you don't hit the ground, then you weren't that close.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice job by Austin Guyman, though.
That was pretty exciting.
Gonna have one of our favorites coming out for the men on qualifier B, Carlo Traversi, past national champion. Seems to be peaking at the right time, Chris.
That's absolutely right. In fact, he just climbed what I think is his very first 14D Kryptonite, rarely repeated climb at the Fortress in Colorado, and he seems to be at the top of his game.
Carlos, 26 years old, from Santa Rosa, California. We'll be seeing him here in just a second there while they get the ropes ready. Stepping onto the women's route, there's Megan Martin, Chris.
Yep, Megan, 25 years old from Boulder, Colorado. You've probably seen her on TV before, either in climbing comps or American Ninja Warrior. She's one of the many climbers who have proven very adept at that challenge. Megan Martin.
You can see Carlo on the wall now. Carlo's 5'7".
Megan Martin is an ex-gymnast, half African-American, half Native American. Strong as heck.
Megan finished 11th at Nationals last year. Carlo finished 4th. I know he was disappointed with that, so we'll see how he does this year. He's definitely high on my list of people to make it to finals for sure.
And on the left of your screen is Sarah Bousset, 18 years old from Oakland, California, 5'11".
Oh.
5'11", one of our tallest competitors for the ladies.
Looks like she's done pretty well in the youth climbing circuit over the years. Made the national team numerous times. See Carla working up into the meat of this men's B route. See if he can be the second male to finish that route after Matty Hong.
It would not surprise me at all Really strong climber. Just actually climbed with him a little bit bouldering in Yosemite in the fall, and for him a V9 is a warm-up. And again, having just climbed a 14D, I imagine these routes are just not near his limit. Megan Martin on the left, looking relaxed, where a lot of other women have not looked so relaxed.
You can see Carlo really leveraging technique there, twisting his body into the wall to make that clip, taking some of the pressure off his arms. So we didn't see Austin Guyman do just a moment ago, and Austin came off. See Carlo, see how he figures out this sequence.
Yeah.
Looks like he's reading it smartly.
Yeah, and I do believe he was just shaking where most of the guys were thrutching. That's a good sign for him. Sarah Bousset on the left, just kind of tiptoeing up the tech slab. Megan Martin climbing well. Looking a little tired, but climbing well. And Carlo is apparently recovering.
Might as well.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Oh, a little surprising that Megan Martin just whipped well below the top of the easier of the two women's routes. Carlo's looking super relaxed. His facial expression just, it's like he's about to sip a coffee or something.
I think he might be a little out of sequence here. We'll see if he can sort that out. Carlo's definitely all business here. He knows that he can't win the comp today, but he has to do well to advance the semifinals. See if he can figure out that foot. Nice job by Carlo Traversi.
Wow.
He's just a couple moves from the top, trying to match Matty Hong. No, Carlo Traversi off men's B. Still a nice placement for him there.
Yeah, that was second highest.
Puts him near the top of the men's field. Route setter's going to take a quick break, clean up some of those routes. A little brushing break. Always important to brush before you go to the dentist.
Nice. Sarah Bousset just took a nice big whipper off the left side of the wall. We still have a few ladies to go before they brush the ladies' routes.
Remember, each competitor is climbing on 2 routes during qualifiers. They'll climb their first route and then switch to whichever one they didn't do first. So some competitors start on Route A, some start on Route B, and then they switch. As far as we understand, Chris, both of the routes are roughly the same difficulty, so I don't know if there's an advantage or not starting one route versus the other.
Say that again, Brian. You think both the routes for the men and the women?
The men's definitely look comparable. The women's Route A looks maybe slightly easier, although that hasn't actually been borne out by the results. More women have sent Route B.
Well, I was going to say, I think Route B is easier.
That's interesting. It's a little bit counterintuitive maybe. You think steeper is harder, but not always.
No, those holds on top of A look pretty heinous, whereas it looks like there's actually grips on the steeper wall. And frankly, that's what most American women train on. Most American competitors, that is, train on the steeper walls rather than the tech.
And I think that's Chloe LeBurge that we're looking at there on female Route B, 17 years old, from Pepperell, Massachusetts.
Say that again. Fitness. Where, Massachusetts?
Pepperell.
Nice.
Is what I'm going with, Chris.
Just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
This is her first route of the weekend.
Chloe LeBurge.
She'll be climbing later on Route A, but right now it's Route B for Chloe LeBurge.
And for the men, they're doing a break to brush and clean all the holds, so it's relatively fair for all the competitors. Although I got to say, they're not going to have to brush too much on the top of those routes, Brian. Only a couple hands have touched those.
Oh, that hurts, Chris.
And none of the men have touched the top holds of the pink route, Route B.
Definitely want to thank our route setting team, led by Brett Johnson this weekend, helped out by Mike Helt, Luke Bertelson, Shane Messer, Meg Coyne, and Ryland Marshall. They put in a lot of work this week to get these routes ready for the competitors. Make sure we have the most fair and most exciting competition that we can have. It's really almost a craft, this route setting that the route setters do.
I have a lot of respect for these route setters. It's
very difficult to separate the field, make them fall on different moves, set it fairly for women and men of different heights, keep it interesting, keep it not too hard, but not too easy. It is a craft, Brian, you're right. We still have Chloe LeBerge just kind of making her way up the wall, not looking as good as we've seen other competitors, but she's just plugging away. Does not look like she's tired. It looks like she's struggled on a few individual moves. Meanwhile, Marissa Romero is getting up there on the left of the screen. Marissa's 17 years old from Frisco, Texas, another Texan, 5'2".
Remember, you can check out unofficial scores throughout qualifiers here if you go to lt11.tv. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Just click in that score window and navigate left and right with the keyboard arrows, and you can check out unofficial rankings for the competitors as we're about halfway through the comp. Remember, in this ranked scoring format, lower points is better. That means you ranked higher on the routes that you've been on. Matty Hong unofficially in first place right now on the strength of 1 top for the men. Kai Leitner right behind him at this point. Won't get a real sense of the field until after qualifiers is over, though, because of this format and the fact that competitors are climbing in a random order on 2 routes. So it'll take a little bit to sort out the results. You can always go to scsnationals.org for the official results once we go off the air. See who's going to make it to semifinals tomorrow morning. We take the top 16 competitors. Semifinals start at noon Eastern time. We'll be back here live.
Marissa Romero teching her way up the wall. She's 5'2". It's hard to say sometimes, Ryan, whether it's an advantage to be short or tall. I feel like on some of these tech routes, the shorter competitors can keep their bodies a little closer to the wall so they can weight their feet a little better. But of course, the taller climbers can make longer reaches. Tough call. Again, the goal of the route setters is to make it even for women of all heights. And she just whipped off there.
Well, that's a great point, Chris. Climbing, as much as it is about power and, strength, it's also about balance and finding the right center of gravity to move your way up the wall. It's not just about who can pull on and grab the hardest.
That's right. I can tell when my center of gravity's off because I sometimes have to unbutton my top button of my jeans for sitting down because my fat rolls get in the way. But
doesn't seem like a problem most of these competitors are going to have, though.
But I think that's why I'm not competing in this competition, Brian.
I mean, you could have signed up.
Really?
I mean, it's not too late. Oh, maybe it's too late. Next year.
Damn it.
As our cleaning of the men's routes continues, we're focused on our female competitors.
And coming up on Route B is going to be Emily Harrington. Now, she just made kind of the gutsy move of making a video of publicizing her big goals for the year. And one of her 4 main goals in totally different arenas of climbing for this year was to make it to finals in this competition. That's how important SCS Nationals is to a world-famous climber who's summited Mount Everest, climbed 14B, and she has a goal of free climbing El Cap as well.
Yeah, she said she's going to Yosemite next week.
Yep. So she's going to try to tick off goal 1 here this weekend. Certainly for her, if she can make it pretty high on both these routes, I think she'll have a good chance. We're eliminating half the field today. The other half is going to continue on to semifinals tomorrow. On the left, we're going to have Zoe Steinberg. She's just starting up the wall. Zoe Steinberg is 18 years old from Ramsey, New Jersey. She just completed an internship in neuroscience. That's kind of interesting. Sent to 13B outdoors. Qualified for the U.S. Youth National Team in both bouldering and sport climbing. That's Zoe Steinberg on Women's Route A on the left. And there's Emily Harrington from Boulder, Colorado. She's now living in California near Lake Tahoe. Again, her goal, one of her big publicized goals, is to make finals in this competition. So I expect she'll climb well here. She's a past champion. 2-time, at least, right, of SCS?
I think maybe even more than that.
Maybe more.
Finding historical records for climbing competitions is harder than finding evidence that dinosaurs existed, I think. But
well, I'm here.
And we were talking to Emily in isolation earlier, Chris, and she mentioned that she's been training a lot on a tread wall, which is kind of like a treadmill for climbing.
That's
so
right.
It doesn't give you a real sense of how you're going to perform on an actual route like this. She said she did climb in France a little bit, but she found the routes actually there to be quite difficult. So she wasn't really sure where she was at. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, this is her first roped competition, she told me, in 5 years. So it'll be interesting. That's how she started, was as a comp climber, and then she kind of moved on to outdoor sport climbing, and then next thing you know, she's summiting Mount Everest.
Seems like a normal progression for most climbers.
Yeah, exactly. She's probably, how many 514 climbers have summited Mount Everest? Not very many.
Not very many at all.
And I bet you she's the only woman to do both of those things. She's looking calm and relaxed, kind of evoking her former self, her former competitive nature as an indoor climber. She's looking really strong. She knows when to punch it and when to slow down and take her time. Pacing is actually a major skill and tactic here on these indoor walls.
Yeah, she's looking really confident right now. You saw her cut feet on that move a little bit lower. Something, if you're feeling uncomfortable or tight, you maybe wouldn't do that kind of thing, and she just looks really comfortable right now.
Yep. There she is on the figure 4 move. Pulls it off pretty easily. I can hear Emily's dad yelling up to her. Tim Harrington yelling at Emily to breathe and get it all back. He's been a non-stop supporter of Emily and everything she's done. His face is almost as common in the climbing gyms as Emily's. He's a great guy.
And a lot of support for Emily Harrington here. I think a lot of people would love to see her make finals.
Yeah, it's really funny actually, because to me, Emily was always that young girl training in the gym, but to all of the other competitors here, she's one of the oldest, and they probably look up to her as an elder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that says about me, Brian, but I'd rather not think about that too much.
We'll try not to do that math on the air, Chris.
All right, appreciate that.
But yeah, Emily is 28 years old. We have 15-year-olds competing against her. Grace McKeehan, just 16 years old.
Zoe slapping for a hold and taking the whip. And the way they score these competitions, she will not get points for controlling that hold. She will only get points for moving off of the previous hold. So unlike how comps used to be way back where the highest you touched mattered, now it's how high you control and whether you move.
Oh, nice. Emily Harrington just barely grabbed that hold. You can see I think you can tell she's getting a little tired here, and she's gunning for those moves.
She's a fighter, though.
Looks like she just ran out of gas. Nice work by Emily Harrington, though.
Yeah, I got to say she just did her best.
All right, that was great to see Emily Harrington, and we're going to take a break on the women's routes and do a little cleanup. And with that, we're going to take a quick break ourselves here. You're watching the 2015 SCS Open National Championships. We'll be right back.
For EP, climbing walls and handholds is our business, but that's really not why we're here. We're here to enrich people's lives and introduce climbing to the world. We know that once somebody gets an opportunity to go indoors and climb on a climbing wall, that they're going to be hooked and they're going to be a climber for life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the 2015 SCS Open National Championships presented by the North Face. We are live at Central Rock Climbing Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here with you all weekend long, bringing you the sports action.
That's right. Right now on the right side of the screen, the route setters are cleaning the men's routes, chalking them halfway through the competitor list. And meanwhile, we still do have Lily Canavan climbing there on the left. We have Lily and then one more competitor after her, and then they'll do the same to the women's route. Brush them clean.
It's a good time to remind everyone at home to join the conversation on Twitter using the hashtag SCS Nationals. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, and you can let us know what's going on in the YouTube chat room as well. A lot of people in there talking about their favorite climbers, asking questions, looking for your input, trying to let you know anything that you are wondering about. No question too small or too big.
That's true. Ask us anything. Lily Canavan is 16 years old from Newton, Massachusetts. Team Metro Rock. Historically, tonight, this route on the left here, the women's Route A, is kind of a slow, tedious process, which is actually really interesting to watch. It seems to simulate a real outdoor climb fairly well.
We're back in action here for the men with Liam Andrews Bancroft out there. I think he's the last male competitor to check out this route that we haven't seen yet. Remember,
that's right.
We have 37 men and 29 women competing. They have 2 qualifier routes, male B or male A. Same with the women, A or B. Climbers start in a random order on each of the routes.
Liam is 17 years old, Florence, Massachusetts. This route looks particularly difficult. So far, no man has topped this.
Yeah, the men's field struggling on both routes. Only one top of the route on the left there, male B, and Liam trying to be the first male to finish male A. Matty Hung, the only climber to finish one of the male routes, puts him in first place so far in our unofficial scores. Remember, you can check out those unofficial scores at LT11.tv. Check out the live scoring component at the bottom of the screen there. Remember, they are unofficial. We'll have official scores at scsnationals.org as soon as they go final after this qualifier round is over, excuse me.
Liam trying to get his toe on the wall. Looks like he is 5'6", but some of these routes are reachy, and I do know that some of the men were particularly concerned about this route being reachy. He's made it happen, though. Tough clips as well.
Yeah, I think of the 2 routes when we were talking to the men in isolation, this is the one they were definitely more afraid of. Holes just kind of disappear at the top here.
He's doing great.
Yeah, he looks really comfortable right now. Really getting into the meat of it, though. We'll see if he can keep it together. This is where the climbers have started to look tired in a hurry. And they started to kind of make poor decisions up here. I've seen a lot of climbers lunging around just like that. Just not
Yep.
quite sure what to make of those holds.
Yep.
It's difficult as a climber when you get into those sequences where you're getting a little tired and the holes start to get small. You don't always make the best decisions that you would normally if you're a little bit fresher.
That's right. Yeah, it's one of the things I love about climbing is that it's not just strength, it's tactics, it's energy conservation, it's can you stay focused when your arms are screaming to just rip you off the wall. And that's particularly poignant here in these competitions where a calm head will get you maybe one more hold, which could very well be the difference between winning and defeat.
That's right, Chris. Every hold does matter. So we see Daniel Berman pulling onto men's B there. Really cool looking climb off the center of this steep wall here at Central Rock, Watertown. Daniel's 17 years old from Massachusetts, another local competitor. The background behind him there, you can see Mohammed JAFARI getting on his second route. It's men's qualifier A there on the far right side of the wall. Mohammed's took first at ABS Nationals last month. Iranian-born climber. Came out of nowhere to win ABS Nationals. I don't think anybody picked him to win going into the comp, but we'll not sleep on him this weekend. I would say he underperformed a little bit on the first qualifier. We'll see how he does here on his second route.
What do we know about his route climbing?
Not that much, Chris. I think he might have mentioned that route climbing was actually more of his forte, so we'll see.
Okay.
See how things go. Mohammed climbs out in Earth Treks in Golden, Colorado these days. Out there training.
Oh, wow. Nice move over there on the left. Let's see. Mohammed is making his way up this pink wall that no one has topped out yet.
And actually, Chris, excuse me, at ABS Nationals, Mohammed actually excelled more on the more technical problems with smaller holds, so we'll see if that plays to his strengths here. As this qualifier route holds kind of disappear right after this section.
Yep. Yeah, I'll say again that from this angle, it looks like a vertical wall, but man, that is sure a steep wall.
Yeah, you can see those quick draws hanging away from the wall. That gives you a sense of how steep the wall is. If the wall were vertical, they would just be hanging right next to the wall.
Yeah, Mohammed's looking great, actually. He's looking really great.
See if he can negotiate this tricky section, pulling over those entropy volumes, just giving a little bit of subtle relief on the wall, adding another dimension. Route setters love to do that with the volume. See if he can figure out this sequence.
All right. Yep, that's where our last competitor fell, and this next hold is looking really hard to hold.
Nice work by
and
Mohammed Jafari.
Just manages it. Wow.
Meat hooking that last clip.
Meat hook. Oh yeah, look at that. Very difficult match.
Oh, he almost lost it right there. He was able to reel it back in. Just got a couple moves left to be the first male competitor to finish this route. No, foot picked, and that was it for Mohammed Jafari.
It looked like the rope got in his way slightly of his big toe. We're now looking at Adriana Jacobson, a 16-year-old here from Cambridge, Massachusetts, another local on Team Metro Rock, that is.
Adriana marking the halfway point in our women's qualifying round. 29 women, 16 will make it to semifinals tomorrow. Not a lot of tops for the women on that route just yet, but we've got some of the best women in the comp still to come on it, as we see Kai Lightner on his second qualifier here.
Kai Lightner again.
Kai's one of the best young climbers in the entire world, really.
Just 15 years old.
Yeah, this is his first SCS Nationals. The first year he's eligible. You have to be 16 within this calendar year, so I know Kai's been practicing his driving. See how he manages on this route.
So what's up with the red tape on his shoulders? Is that some kind of healing slash like tension-y tape to somehow help some injury?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure if he's got injury or just something that helps him when he's climbing. Well, I'll have to talk to him about that after and see what.
Yeah, you know, I've seen several people in the gyms use that, and I want to say half the time it's preventive, half the time it's working on an active injury. Regardless, Kai is definitely one of the strongest climbers here, and he seems to be getting taller every time I see him.
Yeah, what is he listed at? I think he still says he's under 6 feet tall, but
I don't know about that.
Claims he's 5'10", but he is a tall, lanky kid, that's for sure.
Yep.
And as we saw at ABS Nationals, he loves to route climb even when he doesn't have a harness on. A lot of people noting how much he chalked up at ABS Nationals. I saw in a couple blog posts that he decided that's something he wanted to work on, try and climb a little faster maybe. And we see that here, he's moving very smoothly, not spending a lot of time chalking up or resting. Just about 2/3 of the way up this wall, getting into the meat of this men's qualifier. See him, nice technique from Kai Lightner, really taking as much weight off his arms as possible, keeping his right arm straight to make that clip.
As we mentioned earlier, he's one of the men who have actually succeeded on a lot of hard rock climbs outdoors. I know he's done a lot in the Red River Gorge, quite a few 514s including, I want to say, a 14C.
I think that's right, Chris.
Yeah.
Lucifer down at the Red River Gorge. And one thing that you notice with these young climbers, the quality of their technique. I mean, he's only 15 years old, and I am always surprised with climbers like Ashima and Kai. You know, you always think that, oh, they're just kids. They don't weigh anything. Climbing's easy for them, but it's really just not true. When you see them climbing, especially in person, you get a sense for just how incredible their skills are.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt this guy's a skilled climber who's going a long way. He's doing awesome on that route.
We got Garrett Greger there, just off camera now. As we see Kai staring down this head wall, trying to become the second climber to finish this men's qualifier after Matty Hong. Crowd starting to support Kai Lightner.
Garrett's quite high on the pink route.
Yeah, he
Impressive.
must have climbed really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Gosh. That looks like
Curse of the camera for Garrett Greger.
Such a tough spot.
Now Kai's going into Kai Lightner mode.
What is Kai Lightner mode to you?
I think a lot of chalking, a lot of sorting out moves.
Yep.
But it looks like he's figured out what he wants to do. Look at how small those holds are, but just
trying
trying to bump out to that finish hold. No. Oh, Kai Lightner staring down the finish hold on men's qualifier
That was
B.
a cool dismount, I got to say. Impressive.
That's still a great score for him, though. Not many of the competitors have gotten even to that point, let alone finish. So I think that's going to be good for Kai Lightner. I think he got near high point so far on the first qualifier that he did. So I think we'll be seeing Kai Lightner in semifinals tomorrow at noon.
For sure, we will see Kai. He just did excellent.
That'll be at noon Eastern time tomorrow. LT11.TV, the top 16 men and top 16 women be competing in semifinals for those coveted spots in finals, which will kick off tomorrow night at 6:45 Eastern time. Top 8 men and top 8 women competing for a national championship and their share of a $20,000 purse, Chris. That's
no joke.
That's some real money.
$20,000 riding on the line for this comp.
Looks like we're still cleaning up women's routes, trying to freshen up the holds a little bit. Get a good look at some of our male competitors here, though. Got Andy Lamb stepping up on the left side of the screen there in that green tank top. Andy made finals at ABS Nationals a couple years ago. Another great young climber.
Looks like we got some chat room information that the red tape that Kai Lightner was wearing on his arms increases the blood flow to that area. I wonder how it does that.
Well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, Chris. So
that's right.
We'll go with that.
That's right. Gosh, I could use some red tape on some things when I climb.
20-year-old Andy Lamb there from Lexington, Mass. Another local climber, sponsored by his parents, it looks like. I always love that.
Now, is that Catherine Lamb's brother?
I believe that's right. You got Rob D'Anastasio there on the right side of the screen. Rob definitely frustrated with his performance on his first qualifier, so he knows that he needs to do better on this route, and I know he wants to do better. Rob.
Yeah, he sure does. He's the oldest competitor at 31 years old, and indeed, he threw a wobbler after whipping off the first route in a tangle. The rope looked like it was around his arms a little bit. The only real scream we've gotten so far in this comp came from Rob. Hopefully he's gathered his composure. He's looking good so far on the pink route.
Yeah, you can always count on Rob to try his absolute hardest. I think he knows that he doesn't have a ton of years left of these national level competitions. It's an unfortunate factor in this game.
Yeah.
You can see all these young competitors coming up, but Rob's still holding his own, finished in the top 10 at ABS Nationals, made finals. So Rob's still one of the top competitors in the U.S. I know he wants to make finals this weekend, and we definitely know he can. He finished third last year out at Center 1 at SCS Nationals. And he's making quick work here.
Yeah, he's an extremely tenacious climber.
See Andy Lamb struggling there and not able to figure that out. Definitely some different sequences there for the climbers. To see Rob really getting to the meat of this head wall, getting into the moves where we've seen a lot of climbers fall. Nice technique by Rob D, though. See him hooking that heel behind that hold. Takes significant weight off.
Yeah.
Rob D'Anastasio.
Screaming to hang on. Looks like a really tough match there. He wants it. He wants it.
Rob D. Made me knock my headset off. I got so excited there. Nice work by Rob D on his second qualifier. We'll have to check these scores See where he ranks.
I want to say he got high enough on that I would be shocked if he did not make it to semis.
Yeah, remember the top 16 out of 37 men are going to make it to semifinals tomorrow. Remember, you can check the unofficial scores at lt11.tv. See where your favorite climber stands. Remember, we're using the rank scoring format this weekend. Basically, what that means is that first criteria that's most important is the number of tops the climbers achieve, who can get to the top of the most routes, and then after that, the competitors are ranked on each of the routes they climb, 1st through 37th, and then that rank is aggregated across 2 climbs, so lower scores are better. Closer to 1 they can get, the better they're going to do.
Looks like we have Gabrielle Peralta from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, heading up Women's B. Straight A student, plays cello in the orchestra.
Remember to keep letting us know how you're doing out there. The hashtag SCS Nationals on Twitter or on YouTube in the chat room. Let us know who you're rooting for. Appreciate everybody out there tuning in this weekend. Really excited to be here to bring you this event. From Central Rock in Watertown, Massachusetts, the 2015 SCS Open National Championships, presented by our friends at the North Face and all our great sponsors.
Now that's Christopher De La Rosa, right? I think it is on the right there, 19 years old.
I don't think we got to talk about him on his first route.
Uxbridge, Massachusetts. I have no idea where Uxbridge is, but every state out here is pretty small, so I'm going to consider him a local. 5'7", Christopher De La Rosa.
Love the shorts. I'm a real sucker for people that dress a little flare at these comps, Chris.
Yeah, look at those stripes. That's nice. Kind of rocking the hipster red, white, and blue. And we got a fight going on in the background for that figure 4 just made there by Gabrielle Peralta. And there goes Christopher De La Rosa. The triangle section, the triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Gabrielle Peralta fighting her way through. I wish, you know what I want to see? I want to see a replay of that exact section over and over, because it's pretty interesting how all these ladies are doing it slightly differently. Can she make the clip? She's barely holding on, and that was a cool effort.
Love to see the competitors going for it like that. Belair's down there keeping him safe. Get our next male competitor out on the wall there. See who that is. I think that's Elan. One of our foreign nationals competing. Not eligible to be national champion, but he sure can win the comp and take home that top prize. I would not be surprised to see him do that.
20 years old. 5'10", 120 pounds. Yeah, this is the guy. Man, I got like 45 bucks on this guy. 45 pounds, that is. Same height.
And I know Elan is, I think, really strong on crimps, Chris. So I think this route is going to suit him a little bit better than the first one did.
I'm still going to argue with you on that. I think it's Elan. Actually, Elan.
I'm going to let you do the talking for the rest of this climb.
Elan, Jonas McRae. But you are right about that crimp strength. If I weighed 45 pounds less, I could crimp on matchsticks. But as it is, not a chance. Not a chance.
You see Brendan Mitchell climbing in the bottom left hand of your screen there, another Team Texas protege. A lot of people here rooting him on.
Elan entering that really cool looking but very difficult looking pocket sequence. Traversing the pink pockets right there. Definitely the hardest route on the wall right now. You're seeing Elan, Jonas McRae, making his way up. Good old Pinky hasn't seen a top yet.
Yeah, still only one top for the men on either route. Challenging round for the men and their egos. But I think they knew this was going to be difficult. Get a nice wide shot. Both climbers on the wall right now.
That's Michael O'Rourke in the background, isn't it?
Now it's Brendan Mitchell.
Oh, goodness.
You can tell that it's not Michael because he has a shirt on.
Ah, good point. They're all wearing man tanks.
Aren't you?
In fact, we haven't had a pan here. I'm actually wearing nothing right now. I'm actually totally naked.
That's awkward, Chris.
It's more fun that way.
That was enough to get both of the men to fall off the wall. As we pan over to the women's side of the wall, done cleaning up the roots halfway through here in the home stretch of this qualifying round at the 2015 SCS National Championships.
Francesca Caiazzo heading up the wall there on the women's B, and on the left, Alexa Nazarian.
So far for the women, saw a handful of women send the route on the right that you're looking at. Only one top on the left. I think that was Grace McKeehan. But on the right, SASHA DIGIULIAN, or excuse me, Claire BUHRFEIND,
Nice.
KYRA CONDIE, Alex PUCCIO, Delaney Miller, all among the women to send the route on the right side of your screen there. Lots still to be determined here in this qualifying round. Climbers are trying to place themselves into that semifinal round tomorrow morning that we keep talking about, Chris.
That's right. Looks like Alexa Nazarian, 19 years old, on the left of the screen there, is struggling. And they're both struggling, and they're off. Alexa's still barely on. San Jose, California. She's only 5'1". That could definitely be a limiting factor on this technical wall. But she's determined. She's really trying here.
Don't go anywhere after Alexa. We'll have Alex PUCCIO on that route. Not going to want to miss that as Alexa comes off. Nice effort by her on women's qualifier A there on the far left side of this wall at Central Rock, Watertown. Back in action for the men. Noah Ridge, our second place finisher last year. And speaking of Michael O'Rourke,
There you are.
there
Yep.
he is.
No shirt. That's right, baby. I kind of wish they all didn't wear shirts.
Is that so?
The men, that
Mhm.
is. I can't say anything.
I'm making a note of that.
Okay. Yeah, I think they should just all not wear shirts.
See how Michael negotiates this section. As we said on his first route, Michael, one of the strongest climbers in the country. See if he can put this together. He was at the Canadian Bouldering Championships last weekend, which is a little bit different format than this. Made finals up there in Canada. Now he's got his harness on. Climbing lots of boulder problems in a row, and see him struggling with this clip. See if he can regroup. Having to use a little bit more energy than he would like, I think. Shaking out. There's definitely a fine line, Chris, between resting and not resting at this point. Not like those holds that he's on are really that good.
Yeah. It totally depends on your climbing style. For some people, it's actually easier to climb a little slower. For a lot of people, it's easier to climb faster. And there goes Michael O'Rourke, kind of confused right in the same spot many of the men have fallen.
See Noah Ridge here. Noah definitely a favorite to make finals tomorrow night. Noah's from Minnesota.
It looks like he's one of those guys who maybe slower climbing is a better strategy. He sure is taking his time on this route. I keep expecting to see the next guy on the list up there, but there's Noah. He's only halfway up the wall, and he's looking not pumped. So I want to say he's making this look kind of easy. Below him is SASHA DIGIULIAN.
I've heard of her.
Definitely one of the ones you want to watch. Second place last year, and certainly a favorite.
You can see the experience that Noah Ridge has finishing in the top 3 at SCS Nationals the last couple of years now. He knows what it takes to make it deep in this event. Not going to see him panicking.
Yeah, this is a cool sequence. We've seen a few of the men get tangled up in the rope there. He dealt with that quite well. And God, again, I want to say this could be the slowest descent so far. I mean, he's been on the wall for a while now.
And he's really just,
it's hard to imagine he can hold on to those holds for that long.
he looks totally comfortable though right now. He's found a good position. You can see he's keeping his arms straight, puts more of the weight on his bones. Keeps the muscles a little more fresh. Always something to keep an eye on at home. You can learn a lot actually from watching these competitions. You see some of the best climbers in the country navigating some really difficult terrain. And even if you're not climbing at this level, you can learn a lot actually from just seeing how climbers move up this wall.
Good point.
Really,
Good point. Right now I'm learning from Alex Puccio on the left and Sasha DIGIULIAN. There they are.
Yeah, 3 great climbers on the wall now.
We got the powerhouse here. Power team on the wall.
3 of the best climbers in the country. 3 people that'll probably make it to finals tomorrow. And Noah Ridge
That's
trying to sabotage me.
Yep. He just wasn't in sync with your commentary like I am, bro.
Yeah, we'll work on that for later. Alex Puccio finished her first qualifier route. Sasha did not finish her first route.
No. You know, it's interesting. I was going to say it's interesting how Alex, it just appears like she's over gripping every single hold, which is typically not a very good way to climb, but for her it doesn't matter because she has so much power to waste.
She's just making juice on each hold, squeezing.
Making juice. Sasha's struggling. Yeah, I would have thought she'd have climbed this a little smoother so far.
Well, and on her first route, we didn't really know what the difficulty of that route was going to be, and it turned out it was actually pretty difficult. But we know on this route that she's on now that a handful of competitors have finished it, so we're going to get a little bit more of a sense of where she's at right now, how she's feeling. Keeping in mind that she just has to finish in the top 16 to make it to semifinals tomorrow, and then the scores effectively reset.
Yeah.
So she knows she's a seasoned competitor. She just has to do what she needs to do to make it into the semifinals.
Yep. You know, I want to say if Alex was willing to cut some of her hair off, she'd climb even better because it looks like that weighs a few pounds. Brilliant climber. I like the hair. It looks good, but I don't know.
Sasha moving smoothly through this crux sequence. So at the top where we've seen a number of climbers run out of gas right here, we'll see how she does. She can see the finish at this point. We'll see if she can find the right body position. Nice work by Sasha DIGIULIAN.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell by how she climbs that she is so used to competition. It doesn't look like it's really getting to her head. It just looks like she's honestly physically tired right there. Not surprising, just because these are all very difficult routes, even though these people are making them look easy.
Sasha DIGIULIAN finishing women's qualifier B. Nice work by her.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be enough to get her into semifinals.
For sure.
Nice high point, on her first qualifier, and then finishing her second qualifier. So nice work by Sasha DIGIULIAN as we focus in on Alex Puccio here on her second qualifier there. She did finish the first one when we just saw Sasha complete, and she's looking really comfortable on her second route here. Like, it's not even hard for her, which is becoming kind of a theme.
Yeah. I just can't get over how strong she looks. I mean, look at those freaking legs. They're like frogs. Frog legs. Yeah, like in a good way. I mean, they're so strong. Like, those thighs look like they could just, like, launch her to the top of the wall from there.
Yeah, she's definitely put an emphasis on getting even stronger, which is hard to think is possible after she won 8 national championships and then won her 9th this year. Still getting better. 25 years old, Alex Puccio finishing her second qualifier easily.
Awesome, and that's only the second top.
2 tops for Alex Puccio. She's going to be in first place on the strength of 2 tops at this point. Definitely be seeing her in semifinals as we see Brian Huang there on the right side of the screen. Mike Foley here, high on his second qualifier there. Mike's another East Coast climber.
Brian Huang is 17 years old. Boulder, Colorado. Brian Huang's pretty high up there, actually.
Yeah, we're still looking for the first competitor to finish that route. It's looking more and more like that's might not happen. We'll see. Still some strong competitors left, including Matty Hong on that route. The only competitor to finish the route Mike Foley just came off of. Nice work by him. Brian Huang, qualifier A there, here at the 2015 SCS National Championships. Looks a little unhappy coming off there, does Brian. These championships are presented by the North Face.
Would you be happy if you fell there?
I think so.
Yeah, we actually tried to preview these routes today, but they wouldn't let us. You know, we probably couldn't get more than a few feet off the ground anyway. Looks like Samantha Scharenberg is heading up on women's Route B.
And Chris, one theme to keep in our back of our minds this weekend. Alex Puccio is our reigning bouldering national champion. And if she were to win this weekend, she'd be the rope climbing and bouldering national champion at the same time. Something I think Danny Wood's the only other climber ever to do that. He did that a couple years ago when he won the title at Movement back in 2013 for sport climbing, just after he had won the bouldering national championships in Colorado Springs that same year. So keep an eye on that for Alex Puccio.
Thomas Pitzel up on the wall there on men's Route A. Thomas is 19 years old, Alpharetta, Georgia.
Looks like a pretty accomplished speed climber, so see how he does in this difficulty portion. There is a speed climbing championship this weekend as well. There was qualifiers earlier this afternoon. Finals will be tomorrow night. After the lead climbing finals are completed, we'll have live coverage of the speed climbing finals as well. Right after the lead climbing finals are over. That's actually going to be a pretty exciting show, Chris. I'm admittedly was not the biggest fan of speed climbing in the past, but I really starting to come around on it, especially after last year's championships out at Center 1. Some really awesome climbing took place.
It's a great spectator sport. It's not the most applicable, practical type of climbing, but it is pretty fun to watch these people like fly up the wall in seconds. I mean, we were watching some practice speed climbing earlier. These guys were getting to the top of that wall in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, so don't miss that tomorrow night. Our final round will start at 6:45 Eastern Time. LT11.tv for all the coverage all weekend long.
Joseph Gifford on the right wall there, the pinky route. The pinky route that has not let anyone top. Samantha Scharenberg, meanwhile, doing the figure 4.
Getting into that try-hard triangle, as one viewer at home put it.
The try-hard triangle, huh?
I like that.
Julia Talbot on the left side of your screen. 15 years old, Florence, Massachusetts, another local.
It's one of the great things about moving this comp around every year. You kind of bring out some of the local competitors trying their hand at this national championship, competing against some of the best climbers in the country, and oftentimes are some of the best climbers in the country.
Heck yeah.
Nice work. And that great vertical cam shot from the Airworks Cinema guys.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny, like we said earlier, these ladies are spending a heck of a lot more time actually on the climbing wall than the men. It just seems like the nature of the routes that they're climbing are offering them the chance to make it at least 2/3 of the way up the wall. Almost every female has made it pretty high on these routes, whereas with the men, they're lucky if they make it halfway. So a lot of airtime for the ladies tonight here in Watertown, Massachusetts.
So we're checking out the men's route on the far right side of the wall. And just like that, we're done checking out the men's route on the far right side of the wall.
And
just like that,
on cue,
all the competitors off the wall. We're going to take this moment to take a quick break. You're watching live coverage of the 2015 Sport Climbing Series National Championships presented by the North Face. We'll be right back.
As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw up above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2015 SCS Open National Championships presented by the North Face. We are live at Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here as Sam Enright, a 16-year-old from Reading, Massachusetts, comes off his second qualifier route just as we get back from commercial break.
Mason Pitchell on the right, starting up the pink route that has yet to see a top.
We have 37 men and 29 women vying for their spots in our semifinal round tomorrow at noon Eastern time. 16 men and 16 women will be moving on to semifinals tomorrow, where they will have one route to make it into semifinals, or excuse me, into finals tomorrow night at 6:45.
Mason Pitchell, another Arlington, Massachusetts local, 17 years old.
Remember, you can join the conversation all weekend on Twitter using the hashtag SCS Nationals or in the chat room on YouTube. If you want to check out the unofficial scores as we get them in, you can go to lt11.tv. Scroll down to the bottom of the page there. You can see unofficial qualifier scores. Remember, we're using ranked scoring format. Lower points is better. That means you ranked higher on the routes that you climbed on. Tops are the most important thing here this weekend, though. We want to see which climber can get to the top of the most climbs.
Which for the men, Brian, I got to say, it's just not happening that often. We've only had, what, a couple tops?
I think we're still at one.
Or we're just at one. Matty Hong, that's right. Kai Lightner got very close to the last hold, but only Matty Hong has stuck the other route. This one, the old pink pocket route, nobody's topped out yet. So it should be interesting.
You'll see if the men can step it up.
We still have Matty Hong is coming up on it pretty soon, so
looking forward to that for sure.
Got Margot Hayes on the left of your screen climbing the women's tech route, and Danielle Rogan. She's a first chair violinist, actually, a concert master in symphonic orchestra at Lovejoy High School in Fairview, Texas. Looks like she's won a lot of music awards. Meanwhile, Margot Hayes still kind of on her way back from a broken back, making her way. She seems surprisingly happy and confident about this comp, even though she wasn't able to train like anyone normally would do for a national competition.
Yeah, it didn't show in her first qualifier, though. She flashed it pretty easily, it seemed. See how she does on her second route. Out of sight around the corner there on the far left of your screen. Next to her, Danielle Rogan. Checking out that figure four move, trying it on for size. Danielle's 19 years old from Fairview, Texas.
Margot's chilling. She is just like taking her time, not looking difficult for her at all.
And there's Keegan Cole there in the white tank top for the men, 25 years old from Windham, New Hampshire.
Oop. And he's out of there. And then looks like one of the only males to wear a t-shirt, Dalton Bunker. Everyone else is rocking the man tank like I do, but I always thought that was just kind of like a, you know, kind of a nerdy thing to do, which I embrace, but
it's almost retro at this point.
Hey, look at this, I know, t-shirt and pants. Looks heavy.
That's Dalton Bunker
but
there.
Dalton Bunker, good thing he's strong as heck. He'll be able to to manage that and offset those sleeves.
Dalton had a great showing at ABS Nationals last month. Had a great qualifier around there before fading in semifinals. We'll see how he does here at Rope Nationals. Totally different game. That harness on. Different skill set for sure.
Yeah. You're primarily a boulderer, Brian, and a rock scramble adventurer. How do you feel when you have a harness on?
Feel heavy.
Yeah?
Strange things happen to my arms.
Yeah.
Feel very weak, Chris. Thought we weren't going to talk about this. We see Margot Hayes.
Lucky for you, we can switch to talking about Margot Hayes, who's near the top, and this is proven to be the most difficult move she's about to make on this route. This is where a lot of ladies have fallen, and she just did that so easily.
It's really incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Just a few months ago, Margot broke her back, like you were saying, Chris, and here she is at SCS Nationals looking
hiking.
Like there was no break whatsoever. Nice job by Margot Hayes, finishing both her qualifier routes. We will definitely be seeing her in semifinals tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm rooting for her.
Very happy.
I mean, coming back from an injury like a compression fracture in your spine, like, come on. You got to root for her. That was awesome.
Got Michaela Cloud on Twitter saying she's psyched to see Alex Puccio killing it in SCS Nationals qualifiers. I think we all share that sentiment. Like Chris said before, it's Alex's first rope comp in a number of years to see Dalton come off his qualifier there. See how he places. See if he can be one of the top 16 men to move on to semifinals tomorrow.
Melina Costanza on the left of your screen. Hometown, baby. Seattle, Washington, where I'm from. Team Vertical World. I used to work at the Vertical World for like 5 or 6 years. So automatically, I kind of hope she wins. Okay, at least advances. Let's just say that.
That's
I hope
fair.
Melina advances.
On the right side of your screen for the men, that's Solomon Barth from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. 17 years old, climbs at the Philadelphia Rock Gym. Straight A student. Got that parental sponsorship, all important. Looking comfortable so far. The bottom of this men's qualifier.
Yeah, Solomon Barth is making that first crux there look easy. And again, the ladies are on the wall a lot longer than the men, and there's Melina Costanza just kind of heading up that route with the figure 4 section, making it look pretty easy.
That's actually an interesting point. The men are climbing much faster than the women. They're moving through their running order much faster.
Yeah, because they're falling off a lot quicker than the ladies. Wow.
So we will be getting some bonus climbing from the women. Looks like the men are probably going to finish first, but that's all right.
Wow, and I'm impressed. Here's Solomon Barth just continuing up the wall. Honestly, I'd never heard of this guy before, so I'm kind of psyched to see how he does. He sure looks, oh my gosh, another one. That's the second fall, botching the clip with slack out. He fell below the screen, so we couldn't tell what happened. I'm pretty sure he's just fine, but those are always dramatic when you fall with all the slack out.
Got Sydney Trinidad pulling onto the wall in the bottom left of your screen there.
She has a kind of a cool leg hook slash knee bar slash pseudo no hands rest.
Out of our screen on the far right side, Matty Hong is about halfway up his second qualifier, the only male competitor. There we got Matty to finish the B qualifier on the left there. See if Matty can be the first male to finish this qualifier as well. He is already in really good position to make it to semifinals tomorrow.
In case you're wondering how we know all this random information about these competitors, it's a mix of info that we've gotten from personal experience, research, as well as some things that they offered on their application. Matty Hong certainly had the most unique accomplishment, saying that he learned how to fabricate a goat.
I have no idea what that means.
He said it was fairly meaningless, but I think he just wanted to give us a laugh. And honestly, the first 10 times I read that, I laughed out loud. I LOL'd, brah. Melina trying to figure out how to make the last move. Oh, and she skipped the last clip too. This will be exciting.
Oh, hits the eject button as we got Matty Hong looking solid once again for the men.
So
See
now,
see him flipping his left hand. Really smart climbing by Matty Hong. Look at that. Super smart. He's got to do 2 more moves to get to the finish. No, not going to be for Matty Hong, but that's still a great high point for him.
That was the high point of the whole route, I believe.
I believe so.
Mohammed Jafari got 1 move below that, or maybe 2.
Well, if it wasn't the high point, it was really close, and he definitely has the high point on the qualifier route to the left because he's the only person to finish it. So Matty Hong definitely going to be in semifinals tomorrow. Really nice performance by him. I know his mom Karen is out there watching. Nice work for Matty Hong.
John Brosler's now starting up the men's route A.
And see Sydney Trinidad nearing the top of women's A there.
So far, looks like Matty Hong is in first place heading into semifinals tomorrow.
John's the national record holder for speed climbing. It's really spectacular to see him climb. He set the national record last year at SCS Nationals. Not sure if he's broken that since then, but it was a pretty exciting moment last year. Looking forward to that tomorrow night after league finals are over. We'll have live coverage of speed finals.
Sydney Trinidad is just barely holding on there on the left. Excellent work by Sydney. This, again, has proven to be the hardest move on the route coming up here. So if she can hold on to this next hold, she'll be among the elite of the women so far.
Oh, Sydney Trinidad comes off just before the top of that women's qualifier route. See Grace McKeehan starting up the wall just out of your screen there as we focus in on John Brosler. And Michael
And John's off.
Retoff there on the far right side of the screen.
And Grace McKeehan was one of only a few women to top out the women's route A, and here she is on B. She's certainly one of the favorites going into semifinals. She is so small and light. I mean, she climbs, she's like built like Delaney Miller, but she climbs like a stronger, more powerful, dynamic climber. I find her style is different for a person of her build, and it's pretty fun to watch. She's often cuts her feet just like that, pops to holds. It's pretty cool.
Even though Grace is only 16 years old, she's really a seasoned competitor on the world stage. She's made it to the Youth World Championships before. She finished 5th at this event last year. So even though she's only 16 years old, she's been competing for a really long time. And she's not going to be afraid of this stage at all. Grace is one of the only women to finish the A qualifier, the one around the corner to the left, trying to match Alex Puccio with 2 flashes at this point. Alex Puccio is leader in the clubhouse right now for the women.
You know, Grace says she has a 4.2 GPA in school. I want to know what the heck that means. I mean, when I was going to school, a 4.0 was the highest you could get. I don't know. I mean, what do you have to do to get a 4.2? I guess she's just an overachiever in every way.
It is really incredible what these kids do. They compete a lot during the school year. It's really probably not a surprise that they all do well in school, well in climbing. All around really great kids. Just heard Delaney Miller's name announced. She'll be getting on her second qualifier, our reigning 2-time national champion, winner of this event the last 2 years. First at movement. And then at Sender won last year. It's hard to tell if Grace is struggling here or not, Chris.
I know.
A little bit of a panic shakeout there, but looks like she's recovered.
Yeah, I was just thinking of something to say because I couldn't tell whether to say she's looking pumped or just looking totally controlled. It's interesting how much she's shaking,
Yeah,
but I
she's
haven't seen her actually chalk up once.
That's a great point. She's climbing a lot different than some of the other women on this route.
She goes.
Yeah. Not that hot under those lights, I guess. It's hot under the lights on us, though, I can tell you that. I wish I had a chalk bag right now.
Yeah, well, and you know, for someone as small as Grace, carrying a chalk bag is like taking up 10% of your body weight. You'd think that she might calculate that in her wardrobe.
Grace McKeehan trying to go 2 for 2 in this qualifying round at SCS Nationals this year. She is just a couple moves away from the top of this second qualifier route, trying to match Alex Puccio. She's got to get that clip, though. I don't know if she saw that. She's getting really close to passing it, but I think she's going to sort it out. I think that hold that her right hand is in is pretty good, even though that was a little bit of a stressful position. She's got one more move left. Grace McKeehan, 2 for 2. Really great job by her. We'll definitely be seeing her in semifinals tomorrow.
Yeah, we're looking at two of our most academically accomplished women on the wall. Grace, as I said, has somehow a 4.2, whatever that means. And Delaney was a valedictorian when she finished high school. So, I don't know. These ladies are smart, talented, strong.
What are we doing with our lives, Chris? Would not be surprised to see Delaney Miller flash this route. Remember, these climbers have been able to watch their competitors. There's a preview video going in the back in isolation where they can see a preview climber on each of these routes. So they do have some prior knowledge before they climb. That will not be the case tomorrow in semifinals and finals. That'll be what we call in the climbing world on-site climbing.
Yep.
No prior knowledge. So a little bit different. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, though.
I have to admit, I love watching Delaney climb because she just flows up the wall at a fairly consistent rate. Just moves very efficiently. She's super powerful, but like you said earlier, it just doesn't show in terms of dead points or feet flying or anything like that, which is, she's just really not showy as a climber, but she just, you can tell how strong and fluid she is. Fun to watch, I think, but deceiving because it makes it look so easy, whatever she's climbing.
Yeah, the only thing showy is her results, really.
Bam.
Usually quite good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the precision with which she grabs holds with both her hands and her feet. It's remarkable. She chooses very carefully exactly how she wants the hold, and then she does it. Just clamps down there. Wouldn't look like someone of her build would have vice grips for hands, but she does. KYRA Condie is up on Route B.
Yeah, even though Delaney's only 19 years old, she's been competing for a really long time. Really accomplished climber throughout her youth years and now into her adult climbing years.
Delaney won SCS Nationals last year. We're expecting another high performance from her, if not another win this year. She sure is strong. We talked to her before the qualifying round began, and she sounded really happy and psyched and prepared. So Delaney's a favorite.
Just a couple moves left for Delaney Miller on her second qualifier. Looking to go 2 for 2 match Grace McKeehan and Alex Puccio at the top of the leaderboard, which you can check out at lt11.tv for those unofficial scores.
So Delaney just topped out, not surprising, really good to watch. KYRA Condie is here entering the crux of the women's B route, firing through.
I think that's Leilani Peralta, excuse me.
Yeah, you're totally right. That's Leilani Peralta, that's right.
Busting into the try-hard triangle here. Seen a number of women finish this route. We'll see how she can do. Definitely not going. Don't need to finish it to get into semifinals, but it never hurts to finish. You can see her starting to struggle.
Leilani clamping and hooking up the wall.
Nice work by her. See her find that center of gravity with her heel. Make it possible for her to let go with her left hand to make that clip. Nice work. Nice effort from Leilani. We transition back to the men on the far right side of the wall there. Try to see who that is. See if any of these men can finish qualifier A there. Carlo Traversi still to come. See Austin Guyman. Carlo will be up next, actually, moving quickly on the men's side.
Now, as we pointed out earlier, this pink route, the pink pocket route for the men, is, I want to say it favors the taller competitors. And Austin Guyman is, what is he, 6 feet tall. So it wouldn't surprise me if he could do this. He is a very strong boulderer, strong route climber, good comp climber. Oh, but it looks like he just kind of lost it wobbling near the top of that pink route, which still has not seen a top.
Just like that, only one climber left for the men on qualifier A. Carlo Traversi would be the last chance for us to see somebody finish that.
And he could. Okay, so now KYRA Condie is on the left of the screen climbing. Forgive me, I made a mistake there earlier. So KYRA is now climbing women's Route A.
Keep in mind that climbers are trying to get into semifinals tomorrow. The top 16 men and top 16 women going to semifinals, where the scores effectively will reset unless there's some kind of tie in finals and there'll be countbacks to previous rounds, but effectively these scores will reset for tomorrow's semifinals, and then the same in finals. Semifinals and finals will be one climb each. Highest person going to move on. Got 3 climbers on the wall right now. KYRA Condie, Claire Bresnan there. Try to sort out who that is for the men. You're watching live coverage of the 2015 SCS Open National Championships presented by the North Face. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here at Central Rock Gym in Watertown, Massachusetts.
Yep, it's been a rainy weekend so far here in the east, but
perfect weekend for indoor climbing.
It's a great weekend for indoor climbing.
Somehow still snow here in Boston. I guess isn't surprising given how much it snowed.
KYRA Condie's actually climbing pretty fast for that tech route. She's getting up there.
Yeah, like I said on her first route, KYRA tends to climb a little bit faster than some of her colleagues.
Colleagues. Is that what you'd call them, really? Colleagues?
That's what I'm going with.
Okay. I can't do better, so I'll go with it too.
Contemporaries.
Contemporaries.
Let's see Carlo Traversi on his final qualifier, and he's the final man.
I'm excited to
check
see
out.
this. He is the last human being who will attempt to climb this route, because very soon it will be stripped completely and never to be reset again.
Complete history.
Yeah, so this is it. Carlo right now is the only person who could possibly top this out, if it ever will be.
And if anybody can do it, it's definitely him. We know that he's climbing really strong right now, even though he's coming back from an injury. But as
he is,
it seems often the case with a lot of climbers, somehow people are hurt and then they're still climbing hardest they've ever done. I think in the last week, Carlos climbed V14 and 14D, or at least in the last couple weeks. So
yeah,
I think he said he's feeling a lot better now. He had a finger injury that was holding him back to only climbing like V12.
Yeah,
so
poor guy.
He's moving smoothly up this route though here at Central Rock.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell by watching Carlo climb how strong he is. I mean, his control is staggering. Kind of an ironic way of saying that, isn't it?
And even though Carlo is known maybe as more of a boulder, he has won SCS Nationals in the past. A few years back when it was in Utah, I believe Carlo won. So he's looking to recapture all that SCS glory. Crowd's starting to get behind Carlo Traversi. Really fun style to watch where he just almost seems like he's levitating some of the times.
God, he's looking really good, and he's 2 moves away from the high point, 3 moves away from, I think, the top.
He's got to make that clip, though. It looks like I think he made a decision to just move past it and try and get as high as he could.
Okay.
So I don't think he was going to be able to make the clip after getting that, but that's going to be it for Carlo Traversi and men's qualifier A. That is it. No tops
No
on men's
tops.
A.
That will never be climbed. It's going to be stripped. Whole new wall for tomorrow's semifinals and finals. Now I can't tell who we're looking at there now.
That's Jesse Grouper.
Jesse Grouper, okay.
I think we got to talk about him on his first qualifier. Jesse's 18 years old from Montclair, New Jersey,
Montclair.
on the Philadelphia Rock Gym team. Jesse's 5'10". Interesting range of heights for these climbers. I think people tend to think these climbers are taller than they actually are, Chris.
Why is that? Because we all look up to them?
I think it's because they... Whoa, that was... You almost got that past me. I think it's just account of how strong they are. They can seemingly pull a lot further than you think they'd be able to, so you just assume they must be really tall. But
yeah, when you can take a hold and lock it off at your shins, you're going to look about 6 inches taller than you really are.
Claire Burfine on the far left side of the wall there, starting her second qualifier, women's A. Claire finished 3rd here last year, looking to improve on that this year. Katie Lamb starting for the women there in the middle of your screen just a second ago.
And speaking of heights, Claire Burfeind, I believe, is our tallest female competitor at 5'11". Only says she's 115 pounds. She's taller than me and a hell of a lot lighter than me. Plano, Texas. Claire was our Seco Block Nationals winner in 2014.
Yeah, that was a really exciting comp.
Very exciting comp. She's an accomplished speed climber as well. I wonder what, I want to see like a graph of the correlation between speed and difficulty. I mean, certainly speed plays a role, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think what you see is that a lot of these younger competitors have come up in a system where they try to be really well-rounded, and so they're just good at all kinds of climbing.
Okay.
Just being good at climbing really helps with speed climbing. And it's interesting to see the diversification. A lot of the older climbers tend to focus more on certain specialties, maybe.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the younger climbers, they're just good at everything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when you start climbing at like 1 year old, you might as well. We're looking at Catherine Lamb.
Jesse doing really well on men's B here, pulling onto that head wall. Crowd really starting to get behind him. Trying to match Matty Hong is the only male to finish this route. You can see he's wow, nice work.
Chalking up.
He's found a nice, wow, it looked like he found a knee bar there, wedged his leg in there, but then he just kind of popped out, and that was it for Jesse Grouper. Nice work, though. Looking really good. Hope to see him in semifinals tomorrow. We check back in with the women. Claire Burfine surprisingly comes off before the top of women's A there.
Yeah, it's surprising. She was struggling a little bit lower down on that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe vert isn't her thing. I don't know. But that was a little surprising.
Yeah, I think she did struggle with some of the vertical problems at ABS Nationals last month, but I think she did enough to make it into semifinals tomorrow. Expect to see Claire Burfine.
For sure. Catherine Lamb putting up a good fight here. Really turning things on at the Triangle of Doom.
Great vertical shot there from our friends at Airwork Cinema. Looking forward to that all weekend long. Bringing you the best angles we can. Show you just how steep those walls are. Look at that overhang. Deceptively steep here at Central Rock.
I don't know if I've ever seen a woman chalk as much as I'm seeing Catherine Lamb chalk up. It seems more like a nervous tick for the guys, but she's fighting, and I appreciate that. She wants it bad, and I really hope she makes this next move and the clip.
Yeah, she's really going to have to fight through this section. That's where the route really starts to get hard. Not quite able to pull it out. Over on the men's side, we got Andrew Nimmer, former pupil of mine back in the day.
A former pupil?
Take credit for all his success, Chris.
In what respect was he your pupil?
More in life, really, than climbing.
Sure, okay. So we expect me to be replaced next year by him, huh?
Yeah, I've known Andrew since he was quite a young kid. Climbed together with him at Adventure Rock out there in Milwaukee. Big shout out to everyone from Adventure Rock watching at home. Andrew, a local legend in the Milwaukee area.
Milwaukee, is that what it is? There's no L in it? Milwaukee?
Andrew did really well in his first SCS Nationals last year, finishing in the top 15, I believe. I think he was a little disappointed with how he did on his first qualifier, so we'll see how he does here on his second route. Andrew's 19 years old, took 5th in his category at Youth Nationals last year in his final year of youth competition. Now a student at UW-Madison. Another one of these youth competitors, learning and climbing at the same time.
Yep.
That he definitely did not get from me, though.
So what exactly did you teach this guy?
We'll see. We'll see how well he does here. How much credit I will steal from his brother Alex, who I know is watching. Another coach of Andrew's over the years. You know, Andrew's looking to improve on his position from last year. I think he was really happy with how he climbed last year, but he wanted to make it into finals. He's going to have to get pretty high in this route, though, I think, to make it into semifinals. Looking good so far.
Yeah, he's working for it. Can always respect a good fight, and here he is. Mantank showing his guns.
Andrew trains at a gym with walls that are maybe 20 feet tall. Oh no. Not able
and
to
an
dial in
upside
that
down fall.
Not able to sink in that drop knee to get that clip. So we'll have to see how that positions Andrew for semifinals. Top 16 from each division, each gender making in the semifinals.
Annika Nishala on the left and Sarah Bousset on the right. I like the spelling of her name. It's like Sarah, like to be. What will be for Sarah Bousset. Let's hope she can make it up this wall into semifinals. Annika Nishala also climbing quickly on the left.
Remember, if you want to see some unofficial scores as we wind down this qualifier round, you can go to lt11.tv. Check out the unofficial scores. Just click into that scoring window and use the right and left arrow keys on your keyboard to cycle through the standings. Remember, the points column is our rank scoring. Lower is better. It means you ranked higher across the 2 climbs as a climber. Tops, as always, matter the most.
That's right. Best places on top here at SCS Nationals. You know what I'm saying?
And just like that, Chris, started 2.5 hours ago. We have our final male competitor out on the wall, Matt Laundrie, conveniently from Watertown, Massachusetts. 24 years old. Gonna be our last male competitor. Trying to double the number of tops that we've seen from the men in this qualifying round.
Well, and the a women's place is on top here at SCS. There certainly have been a lot more of those than men. Sarah Bousset is now off the wall. Not the best performance so far, but fun to watch. And Annika, meanwhile, is kind of teching her way up. the slightly overhanging tech route of Route A for the women.
Yeah, still only a couple of women have finished that route. I think going into this, we would have expected to see maybe a few more, but it's turned out that the route to the right has been easier for the women.
Brian, I've got to say, that looked like the easier one to me from the ground. And I think the competitors, a couple of the women I talked to thought that might be the case. But you're right, when you just look at them from afar, and certainly from this TV screen, it looks like you could just dance up that vertical wall. But those holds are deceptively slopey and bad. Bad holds.
So we get a look at Matt Laundrie here, trying to sort out the moves on this qualifier route. Dreamy camera angles from the Airwork Cinema guys.
Yeah, he's looking strong. Another T-shirt boy. The crowd's really getting behind him here. Local favorite.
Crowd is definitely getting behind Matt. Biggest reaction of the whole night so far.
And Matt Laundrie is all washed up. I don't think anyone appreciated that one, but whatever.
I appreciate you, Chris.
Thanks.
Still plenty of women to come here. That is it for the men, though. Non-stop action here at SCS Nationals. Should be Marissa Romero climbing onto the wall here at Central Rock, Watertown. Marissa's 17 years old. Another Team Texas climber from Frisco, Texas.
Kayla Liu on the left, 18 years old from Potomac, Maryland. They kind of look like twins from here. Marissa is only 5'2" and 100 pounds.
Looking at some unofficial scores here for the men. Matty Hong in first place. Kai Leitner, Carlo Traversi, Noah Ridge, Mohammed Jafari rounding out the top 5. Remember, you can check out scsnationals.org for official results as soon as they're available. Keep checking there for all the official results all weekend long. Remember that LT11.tv is your home for live coverage all weekend. That's where you can see the live feeds each day. Make sure you do not miss semifinals at noon tomorrow Eastern Time, followed by finals at 6:45 Eastern. It's just going to keep getting better and better, Chris.
Life has a way of doing that, Brian.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. For the women, some unofficial results. Margot Hayes, Grace McKeehan, Delaney Miller, Alex Puccio, all tied, all flashing both qualifier routes. KYRA Condie, Sasha DIGIULIAN, Claire BUHRFEIND right behind them.
Marissa doing a great job of navigating her way into the Bermuda Triangle, which has definitely stymied many of our female competitors so far. Kind of a fun sequence to watch, I think.
See Emily Harrington's name in the top 16 as well, unofficially at this point, so her goal of making finals is still alive. Really nice technique from Marissa here. You can see her finding the right balance for that clip, moving into this difficult section here.
Nice.
This is where we've seen a lot of competitors run out of gas, but she is looking very smooth. See if she can sort out these last couple of moves. Not able to do it. Nice work though from Marissa Romero. That's going to do it for her qualifying round at SCS Nationals 2015.
Kayla Liu, only climber on the wall at this moment. starting to struggle a little bit.
And Chris, as we watch Kayla work here, one of the other things that is something to keep in mind this weekend is that this comp is here to select the national team for sport climbing for the U.S. That's the other factor these competitors are competing for, is for a place on the U.S. national team. Got to make it deep into the comp, though, if you want to get onto the national team, be able to represent the U.S. in international competitions. So we'll be keeping our eye on that all weekend, letting you know how that shakes out.
How many of these competitors get on the team, the U.S. national team?
I think we're going to have to check on that just to make sure that we know exactly how that works. We'll focus in on that for finals tomorrow night.
Yeah, once we find out, we'll let y'all know.
I know a lot of the competitors have that as a goal. That's going to be it for Kayla Liu. Another competitor off of women's A there. Just a handful of competitors left for the women here at SCS Nationals 2015, presented by the North Face. Brian Reynolds and Chris Weidner here with you in the broadcast booth. Remember, you can tweet at us, see our handles there. You can use the hashtag SCS Nationals. That will be what we're watching all weekend long. See where you're watching from. Looking forward to seeing some viewing parties tomorrow night for finals, Chris. Always a fun time, I know, for people at home. Get together with a group of friends. Check out finals.
Zoe Steinberg on women's B. 18 years old. Zoe Steinberg, one of the last few competitors here for Route B. She has kind of a quick style. That was the fastest clip I've seen all night. And then Bimini Horseman is just was on the left side of your screen there. Bimini Horseman on the left, and Zoe Steinberg on the right.
Yeah, looking over the results so far, Chris, I don't see any real surprises of people that look like they're not going to make it to semifinals. A lot of looks like all the favorites are going to make it through.
Any dark horses that are going to make it to semis that we know of yet?
I see Jesse Grouper in the top 10 right now.
That's a name that, honestly, I'd never heard of before.
Looking forward to seeing. He climbed really well, though, on that second qualifier route that we just saw.
He did amazing.
Can Emily Harrington be a dark horse, or no?
I don't know, man. If you've won SCS Nationals in the past, like she has multiple times,
Permanent, not a dark
you're
horse.
kind of in for life, I want to say.
You're always in the light.
Yeah. It's like when Steve Hong was competing against all the 16-year-olds and winning. And now his son, Matty, is top male so far.
So we're definitely looking forward to seeing these top climbers in semifinals tomorrow. Still some climbing left to be done here, though. These women are still vying for those spots.
You know, it's cool. You can see the aggression on Zoe's face when she's entering these moves here. She wants it, and she's really trying hard. You can tell.
Yeah, it's really cool to see, Chris. Even though some of the women have climbed with maybe a more stoic style, you would say.
Stoic.
These are aggressive moves for sure. Love to see that from the competitors.
Yeah, it's cool to see angles like this. You can tell how crappy the holds really are. They're super small, yet most of these competitors make it look pretty easy.
See if she can figure out the sequence. This is where we've seen a lot of the women start to struggle.
Nice. Now, will she be able to make the clip?
Yeah, see, she didn't. You see, she got tired and couldn't take the time to find the right position to make that clip. That's going to be it for Zoe Steinberg. 2 women left on that route. 3 to come still on the route that Bimini Horseman's on. including Emily Harrington and Megan Martin.
That's exciting. I think Emily is going to just cruise up that tech route. She tends to be really good at those.
She's going to be closing the show here in qualifiers.
Bimini doing really well. She's only a few moves from where only a few women have made it to.
And we've only seen a few tops of this route. Less than 5, I believe, out of 29 women. Oh, bobble the clip, but I think she's going to be able to recover.
That's like more than anything, when you bobble the clip, it's kind of mentally rattling.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks like it's not bothering her too much. It's just actually really hard right there.
That was a nice recovery. I think anybody at home who's done that knows what that's like. Just throws you off a little bit. You're expecting to keep climbing, but you got to make that clip again. Crowd's starting to get behind her. Nice back flag.
Oh, wow.
Move.
Really impressive. She just held the hold that only a few women have gotten to and controlled.
I don't know if she was surprised that she got that or what. She looked down at the crowd.
You know, I want to say every other woman has gone to that with her left hand, and I think she crossed with her right, which actually seemed to work really well.
Yeah, that's a really nice technique she used there. Just shifted her center of gravity to the point where she could sweep around with her right arm like that. That was awesome.
We got a lot of cheers from the crowd for Bimini. This is excellent. I think she's surprising everybody.
Nice job by Bimini Horseman, a local favorite. Got Lily Canavan over here, another local climber from Newton, Mass, 16 years old. Climbs at Metro Rock. Our second last competitor on women's B. Remember, you can go to scsnationals.org for official results once this round is over. Check out the results, see the running order for tomorrow. Check out the schedule if you have any questions about that. If you're in the Boston area, love to see you out here for semifinals and finals tomorrow. It's going to be a really great show. Looking to pack this house.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be nuts. Lily Canavan hesitating, pretty low on the route. You know, when I see that, I kind of automatically start rooting for her because you want them to push themselves and you want them to make it higher than they think they can do. So right now, all of my support's going to Lily here. Yeah, you can kind of get a sense of the angle of the wall here. We've talked about this before, but it's really hard to overstate how steep this wall is. Many of the camera angles, which allow the widest views, which are awesome, just don't quite do the wall justice. Even here in person, when you're looking straight at the wall, you cannot tell how steep it is. But when you're under it, if you were the belayer, you're looking out, you're not looking up. You're turning around and facing with your back to the wall. You're facing the other way because it is so steep. And it's just really impressive. These women are holding on right now in a figure four.
And it's kind of funny how easily a lot of women have done that move. Figure fours aren't something you do a lot in climbing.
Yeah.
But you sure love when you can do it. See Megan Martin here on her second qualifier. As we see Lily flying through the background.
Yeah. That was a graceful dismount. Didn't get her very high. Now it's Megan Martin of Boulder, Colorado, working up the tech vertical wall, vertical-ish. It's actually still slightly overhanging. Personal favorite of mine just because she's from Boulder. She's an American Ninja Warrior, and she's just a really great person, happy, always smiling. I don't think I've ever seen her, except perhaps right now, without a smile on her face. She's focused, though. She needs to do this. She really wants it.
Yeah, I don't know if this style suits Megan or not. Megan's a pretty powerful climber who I think prefers the boulder mostly, but she's always up for a good competition. See how she does as she gets higher on this climb.
Former gymnast, she is visibly super strong, and she certainly can apply that to climbing in a way that most people can't.
Chris, as this round winds down, who are some of the competitors that impressed you so far in this qualifier?
Well, I got to say, I mean, we just saw a pretty impressive effort from Bimini Horstman, a local favorite here. Having known nothing about her and not really thinking a whole lot or expecting much, I mean, she did the crux moves of that easier than I recall SASHA doing them, DELANEY doing them. So for one, I'd say Bimini Horstman is super impressive. Adriana Jacobson on Route B for the ladies.
Adriana, 16 years old, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, not far from where we are right now in Watertown. Pretty fast speed climber.
And Megan, I think, is the first woman to cut her feet.
What is going on?
Oh my
there?
gosh. She's probably also the only woman who's strong enough to hold that foot cut. She's really working for it.
Megan Martin out in no man's land there, and she paid the price.
That was pretty exciting, though. I'm pretty sure that's not the way the sequence was supposed to go, but she was so strong and determined. She fought for it. Overall, though, I would have expected her to get a little higher.
Yeah, I think so, too. I know, I was really impressed with Margot Hayes. We talked about her and her comeback story. We'll see how that progresses through the weekend, but like we said, she just came back from a pretty nasty injury and climbing really well, so hopefully she can keep that up.
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, injuries can be just really grating mentally, and it seemed like she was super psyched and fresher than ever.
Yeah, I was talking to her last month, and she was saying how she's been injured forever. And then I asked her how long it had been. She said, oh, 2 months. I said, oh.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting how perspective changes with age, Brian.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, definitely, Chris. So we see Adriana working through the figure four for the men. Definitely impressed by Matty Hong. We knew that he is a strong competitor, but likewise, coming back from an injury.
He was injured in the best way I can imagine. He was in a knee bar in rifle, and he fell off of tomfoolery, this notoriously difficult 14B, cracked his leg on the wall, and bruised his bone, is what he said, and just wasn't able to make a fast recovery. But yes, I agree. Matty Hong surprised me. I would not have put him at the top for the men. Adriana is our last female, and she's off of Route B. She was the last one on that route. Only 2 more ladies to go, Chloe LeBerge and Emily Harrington. And it looks like Chloe LeBerge has started up female Route A.
Chloe, 17 years old, another Massachusetts local. See her make her way up. Also on the men's side, we knew Carlo Traversi was going to be strong. He looks to be in the top 5 right now. Kai Leitner, unofficially in 2nd place right now. Noah Ridge, Mohammed Jafari, who won ABS Nationals last month, looking strong here once again in Rope Nationals.
Yeah, and I mean, I had never heard of Elan, Jonas McRae, or Jesse Grouper, and that could just be my own ignorance, which I'm happily admitting. But it's great to see brand new names in the top 10. I love that. It's an evolving sport. Competition climbing is just open to a lot more kids as more and more gyms and youth teams sprout up. So it's just really fun to see all these new names and new talent. Chloe LeBerge is in a knee bar now, working that rest. It looks like the best rest on this entire wall.
Reminder that you're watching the 2015 SCS Open National Championships presented by the North Face. Brian Runnells and Chris Weidner here in the booth all weekend long, bringing you the action. Qualifiers tonight, semifinals tomorrow at noon Eastern time, followed by finals under the big lights at 6:45 Eastern time. Don't want to miss any of that. Be looking for your input all weekend long. Twitter, YouTube, all the social medias. Let us know how you like the show. We are here for you. Really, Chris?
That's right, Brian.
I mean, I would come talk about this comp if nobody was watching. That's how much I love competition climbing.
And that is words straight from the mouth of Climbing Narc. So obsessed with climbing it hurts.
Often. But not right now. Feeling good. Climbing's a good thing right now for me.
Tell me about it. You just sent your own project, didn't you?
Well, it's nothing, not that exciting. But yes,
everything's exciting.
We all have our moments.
That's right. Oh, and Chloe's stretching to make a clip, not quite able to, dropping the slack. Yeah, it's tough on these routes. It's so easy to overgrip when the holds kind of suck and you don't quite trust your feet. And it looks like that's what's happening to Chloe right now. She's just not quite trusting her feet as well as other competitors have. So she's feeling tipsy and just overgripping, it looks like.
Yeah, she's just not able to find the right balance point here. She's a little bit out from her clip there, so I think she feels a little uncomfortable about the position she's in. See if she can sort this move out.
I've got to hand it to her so far. She's really sticking with this, trying to make this work. And it's like every second that you hold on in a position like that, it gets more and more scary.
I think we might see her relax now that she's got that clip made.
Yep.
See how she does.
It's sometimes scary to fall on these vert and slightly overhanging walls in a gym, because it's interesting. All of the holds are outies in the gym, whereas when you're climbing outside, they're usually innies, and so there's all sorts of stuff sticking out. And even with a perfect belay, you can hit things on the way down. So yeah, I understand her concern there, and I think you're right. She relaxed enough to progress a bit, but looks like she's still a little stressed out.
Yeah, this style of climbing is something where it can go from feeling impossible to easy in just a shift of a foot or shifting your body in a certain way.
That's right.
Remember, there is an 8-minute time limit for these climbers. I don't think it's really been an issue so far, and I don't expect it will be here, but that is something to keep in mind.
If she can hold on for 8 more minutes total, or 8 minutes total, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, that's there for the climber's own protection. She's about halfway up right now. One more climber still to come. Some climber named Emily Harrington. I'm gonna have to look her up.
Yeah.
See if I can find anything about her.
Yeah, gosh. The challenge with some of these competitors is finding some interesting information. The challenge with Emily Harrington is selecting the interesting information you even want to talk about, because I feel like we could talk about her for the next hour.
Well, we might have to do that coming up here.
Will do.
For at least 8 minutes.
That's right. You know, I'm Chloe's effort right now is growing on me. She's still holding on. She's probably been overgripping this whole time. She's obviously super strong. And she's really trying to relax whenever she can.
Yeah, this looks a little more comfortable for her now.
Yeah, and you could see it in her face before, how she was like visibly breathing, trying to make herself relax. And it's worked well enough to get her a couple more body lengths up the wall.
Yeah, definitely one of the hardest things in climbing is just to relax sometimes, breathe.
Yep. You know, you can say the same about life, Brian. Sometimes you just got to relax.
I'm going to do that right now.
If I relax too much, my bladder's going to burst. I got to chill mentally here and just let my body take over.
That's going to be it for Chloe.
One more competitor, Emily Harrington, will be our last female. And as we mentioned earlier, Emily has publicized recently her goals for 2015, which is a gutsy move. One of her major goals of 4 multidiscipline climbing goals for this year is to make it to finals in this competition. Now, next month, as you said earlier, she'll be trying to free climb El Cap in Yosemite, El Capitan. Another of her goals is to ascend a sport route called Sarcasm, which is a very difficult 514 up in Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. And her final goal, if I'm correct, is to summit an 8,000 meter peak called Makalu and do that without bottled oxygen.
That's a big year.
Like, every one of those things in its own right is like anyone else's best achievement. But to even attempt to do all 4 of those things in 1 year is super proud. And I really give her props that she put out a video kind of publicizing her goal, inspiring people. I mean, God, that inspires me.
Yeah, and like you said, not a lot of climbers like to go out there and put themselves on a limb. A lot of people try to underplay, like, oh, I'm not really feeling that strong right now, or maybe I'll do this comp, maybe I won't, and then they'll come win it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, most people just like to kind of downplay things until after the fact. And it's really cool to see Emily go out there, put herself out on a limb, really. And, I don't know, let everyone come along for the ride, and we'll see what happens.
And this is interesting for Emily because she is a previous winner of this competition for several years, but it has been 5 years since she's done a roped comp. So I can only imagine that she's probably the most experienced competitor, yet she probably feels a little intimidated. She's now one of the oldest ones, too.
That's a great point, Chris. She has done really well on the international circuit. Like you said, it's been several years, so she does have that experience, but it's not quite as fresh as some of these other competitors. She's going to have to draw on that experience as she moves up her second qualifier. I think she knows she needs to get relatively high on this to make it to semifinals, at least ensure that she'll make it to semifinals. She doesn't want to leave anything to chance.
Yeah, and while Emily is super strong, I'm going to say her strength, as it were, is her technique. She is a technician. She knows how to weight her feet. She knows how to place her toes. She knows just how much energy to use on each little grip. So if she can just stay relaxed, I think she has an excellent chance of making finals.
Emily did not finish her first qualifier, and we've seen numerous women complete both, but she's still in the running here to make it to semifinals. Top 16 women are going to make it to tomorrow's semifinal round at noon Eastern time, LT11.tv. Looking pretty comfortable so far. Little contrast between Emily and Chloe, who just climbed right before her.
Yeah, marked.
And that's really the fun thing about this comp in general. You get to see the differences in style for the men and the women, between men and the women, and then the women and the men amongst themselves, the different styles that the climbers bring, different strengths. Everyone's got the same goal, which is to get to the top, but so many different ways to do that in climbing. There's no one way or one right way. Emily efforting a little bit on that move.
Yeah, I wonder if it was more effort than others have put in, or is it just that flash close-up we saw of her face and of her hand, just trying to grab that really slopey pinch.
Yeah, you can see that hold's not so good, but now she's on a nicer, more comfortable angle on that grip there. About 25 feet left for Emily Harrington on her second qualifier. She'd love to get to the top. Give her a little confidence going into semifinals tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's a good point, actually. For a lot of these competitors, it comes down to confidence. And if she goes into the semis tomorrow, if she makes it in, which I believe she will, depending on how this goes, confidence is kind of everything when you're entering the comp. It's kind of like when you're trying on a pair of skinny jeans or something. It's like, you can rock it if you have the confidence.
Must be why I always wear baggy pants, Chris.
I think skinny jeans would be baggy on you, Brian.
Emily looking very comfortable here. Haven't seen one of the women get past this point in a few competitors at least. See how Emily does. You can see she's not rushing, she's taking her time.
Yeah, I think the main difference between any of her other goals and this goal is that in a competition, I mean, you have one shot. You have one try. I mean, every single effort here is all you get, whereas she can work on that sport route as long as she needs in order to send it. She can make multiple attempts at her other goals, but this one, you really need to just give it everything you've got each time.
You can see her trying to sort out her foot there. She had it over the rope behind her leg, which you don't want in climbing. Leads to some unexpected falls, but she got it sorted out, made the clip no problem. And that was a great point, Chris. Climbers only get one chance. That's a big difference between this and a bouldering competition where you can have multiple attempts.
Yep.
Definitely adds a lot of pressure at these comps. You can see Emily's arm starting to shake there a little bit.
But I mean, it's so great. You can tell she's experienced because she's really keeping her composure. You can tell she's tired and pumped and a little, I don't know, I want to say she looks a little nervous, but she remains composed. And if you can just get your heart rate down as a competitor in these rests, that's everything.
Yep, she can see the finish from here. She knows that. It's been done a number of times. See how she can sort this out.
And there she goes with the right hand. That is the way that Bimini did it as well. Different than the other competitors, and that looks like the superior method. And it just looks like a horrible hole.
Yeah, now that we get that angle, that hole is horrible. Wow.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense why so many of the women were falling there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think she has a good chances of getting into semis. She's one of only a handful of women to control that hold.
She looks like she's in a good spot, though. She's got just a few moves left to get to the top. Looks like she's found a good resting position. This type of hold that the higher you get on it, the harder it is to hold on to it, and foot picks off. That's going to be it for Emily Harrington on her final qualifier route, and that's going to do it for the qualifying round at the 2015.
That was an excellent, excellent effort by Emily Harrington. She did make it higher than most of the women, so I'm feeling good about her.
Well, Chris, that was an exciting qualifier round. We started with 37 men, 29 women. We're going to get down to 16 qualifiers going to semifinals tomorrow. Remember, you can check on those official results. SCSnationals.org, they should be up shortly. Keep checking back there, see how your favorite climber did. And be sure to tune back in tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, LT11.tv for the semifinal round. We'll be back here with live coverage as we work our way down to finals tomorrow night at 6:45 Eastern Time. Chris, what are your big takeaways from qualifiers today? Anything jump out at you?
Gosh, Brian, this has just been a really exciting qualifiers for me. I was excited to see a few old names come back strong as we expected, like Delaney Miller, Claire BUHRFEIND, and I can't even name how many. I mean, Grace McKeehan, SASHA DIGIULIAN. But then I also really was happy to see some of these people I'd never heard of, some of the men who performed really well, like Jesse Grouper, and certainly Matty Hong, I knew would climb well, but to be the only one to top out one of the routes was just awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting qualifier round. A lot still to come. If you're in the area, get down here to Central Rock. Come check it out in person tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. Semifinals at noon Eastern Time. Finals at 6:45. Be sure to get back and check that out. For Chris Weidner, this is Brian Runnells and the whole LT11 crew saying thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks so much.
Live streaming is a service that Louder Than 11 provides, but that's not really what we do. We use broadcast as a tool to tell real and inspiring stories that speak to the heart of our audience. As a fan, it's hard to be there for every single event, but Louder Than 11 is committed to creating the most entertaining and immersive experiences possible.